Hello everyone and welcome to Magma Rages episode 45. Joining me today I have Adam Sythe Katz. And for those of you who don't know, he's quite a prominent player in the South African community in particular.
Thank you.
Well, in the African community as a whole, in fact, was actually recently the champion for ESL Africa at Rage, which myself, Penguin and Pandemonia were actually casting. So that was a really good win there. How did you find the whole experience, ESL, Rage?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, Rage is such an incredible event, and ESL Africa was great. I mean, it really felt like it had that it had a lot in it. You know, people were invested. I was very invested, and obviously, it always is. It's great to win.
yeah, I'm sure that was. I mean, definitely the biggest prize money we've seen on the African continent for Hearthstone for that as well, which is
I think so. I saw WESG Africa had quite a big.
Oh, that's true. That's true actually. Previously, WESG last year's WESG, the 2017 one.
Yeah,
that one had like a really big prize pool. Well, actually, no, 2016 one. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. That one had a really big prize pool, but yeah, I mean, it was like a really good win.
Yeah, it is,
and I mean,
it was good, yeah.
One of the interesting things with that tournament was the lineup you brought. Was a very like anti-aggro lineup, not really some of the decks people would have expected, like Control Warlock before Kobolds and Catacombs, and a very heavily teched or targeted lineup.
Yeah, totally. I think you might see in my criticism of the deck list that we're about to do that I am a little geared to counter strategies, especially in small events, which the World Championships is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of keen to see. Obviously, I've had a look, but I'm keen to talk about some of the really interesting tech decisions. I mean, they're obviously good decks that we knew they were going to bring, and there are some decks that we didn't know they were as good as they clearly know they are.
Yeah.
Token Dread would be a great example. And yeah, it's interesting to see. But then the tech decks and the targeted and stuff like that is really interesting to look at.
Yeah, and I mean, that's partly why we've got you along today. Also because we're missing Pandemonia. He's over in China still at WESG, where Salty Monkey came 4th in the WESG qualifiers, so unfortunately not qualifying for the next stage, but still a great showing from her. And we also recently did the Dungeon Run Challenge, myself and Zamok. Unfortunately, we failed on our first attempt this time around, and basically because it was sudden death, we needed to get at least 5 perfect runs in a row to even crack the top 3, which is where the prize money is. We basically dropped at that point, but it was a really successful stream and a really awesome event. So shout out to all the admins and everyone involved in putting that together. But on to the main event, and the main event which is going to be happening next weekend, and that's going to be the HCT Championship, which we've seen the players qualify through all the different seasonal championships, and we have all the deck lists now. So what we're going to be doing is just looking at the deck lists, looking at the meta overall for the championships, and then looking at who we think is going to win their various matches, get out of their groups, and win overall, which is going to be the person that's going to most likely provide you with the most amount of packs, basically. So the thing is, with this tournament, everyone is pretty much a top level player, right? They certainly didn't get there without being an absolutely top level player. So it's very difficult to say, this player is a better player than this player. So really, we're just going to have to look at like deck lists and what kind of lineups they brought.
I think this is going to have to be our first disagreement, because everybody is a good player, but you might be a great player, but when you're on that world stage and you're playing for amount of money, I mean, they've all won big events to get you. Well, actually, not really. A lot of them have made top 4 in events.
Yeah.
And that ability to hit the top 4 and that ability to win an event is something that can change between someone like Alento and someone like Ant. We haven't seen Ant win an event yet. So who knows? He walks into a live event, and, he's in the finals of the World Championships. He's playing against someone like Alento. Maybe he will crack. I don't know. I like to back players who have the arrogance that Alento walks with.
I mean, that's definitely a fair point. For me, I think there's like a few standouts like Muzzy, Purple, Orange as well, that have like proven history. Even though Muzzy is like newer to the competitive scene in the sense that he only really made his breakout this year, like he's been relatively well known, and his like prowess and piloting decks is definitely known. So it's not something that I expect him to really crack under that pressure.
Yeah.
So I mean, they definitely would be my favorites kind of going in, but let's actually have a look at what the meta is going to be like, because that's really going to be a defining factor. Even if you're the best player, if you bring a bad lineup, you're going to definitely struggle. Okay, so if we look at the class breakdown here, unsurprisingly, we have 16 out of 16 priests. Yeah, no one's shocked there.
The only thing that I think is a little bit interesting is no one, like, there are a lot of good priest decks that aren't as good as Highlander Priest, and no one brought them. But I guess Highlander Priest just is that good.
Yeah, the thing is, with the revealed decklist format, you can't really surprise your opponents as much with a deck they don't expect. So you can't get them to make a mistake in their ban because of that, and that's definitely a concern, I think. We do have two people bringing the Dragon Priest. We'll get later to who's bringing what exactly, but that is a deck that you can bring if you want to target the Highlander Priest as well, because it does quite well. It basically nullifying one of the AoE options, which is Dragonfire Potion, largely. It's better in that sense than the Spiteful version of the Dragon Priest. The combo version of the Dragon Priest, because you are a higher percentage of dragons, as well as your big turns, like your Spiteful Summoner turns, are not as easily countered by like Dragonfire Potion, possibly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like you could just roll Spiteful Summoner into Yogg, and then you die to Dragonfire Potion, and that was unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, we also have a lot of Druids, 15 Druids, 15 Warlocks, and 12 Rogues. Druid's quite split down the middle between the Jade and Aggro Druid. I think that's largely a case of depending on what suits your lineup better. Both are pretty powerful decks. And then Warlock, it splits a little bit between Cube and Control Warlock, but those are definitely the majority. Both lists quite similar, just differently teched for whether they include the Cube combo with the Doom Guard or not. And then there's the singular Zulok list as well, which I actually think is a pretty decent deck for ladder right now. But it takes a very specific tournament lineup, I think, to make Zulok work.
I think the one thing that I found really interesting is, from someone who doesn't spend infinite hours playing Hearthstone, I take a lot of my options from ranked databases. And in rank, there's no question that Aggro Paladin and Murloc Paladin are seen way more play than Token Druid.
Yeah.
So why the pros, if they're looking for an aggro option, are going to Token Druid and not to Aggro Paladin? I found that really interesting.
Yeah, I think when you're banning Priest, if you're banning Priest, then the Murloc is not as good, because that's one of its better lineups or matchups, whereas against the Aggro Druid is much better in a lot of the other aggro mirrors. Like Murloc Paladin's biggest problem is that it's weak against aggro mirrors. So it's weak against Rogue, and it's weak against like aggro Druid. So now, if your opponents are going to be bringing those as their other two major aggro decks, all of a sudden your Murloc Paladin is kind of going to suffer in those matchups. Murloc Paladin tends to beat up on the more controlling decks a little bit more, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe a bit of the reasoning there.
I think that's a really good analysis, and I think it's really interesting that all the pros were able to make that analysis, because I know that when I was going in and I was waiting for these lists, I was expecting a few more aggro Paladin lists.
It's definitely surprising, because if you want to put together an aggro lineup, you'd expect Aggro Paladin to be in that. But I think the read is basically that people have seen that maybe it's going to be targeted a little bit too much. So maybe and
I guess with Highlander, everyone's just ban Highlander Priests, and then you're still losing to your Warlocks and your other aggro matchups. So it's actually just not strong, which is unexpected. Yeah. That's a good analysis.
And it's also so weak to Rogue, and I think you can pretty much expect most people to bring Rogue. And when we have 12 out of 16 Rogues, and they're all tempo Rogue, which is all good against the Paladin. So the problem with the Paladin is you usually want to play it where you can target Priest and ban Rogue, or ban Warlock. And the problem is it's kind of weak against both Warlock and Rogue. Yeah. And then those are two of the most popular decks you're expecting, as we can kind of see.
Yeah.
And then we have the Lone Face Hunter deck, and the two singular like big spell mage decks, which are separated a little bit here, basically based on the Dragon Caller Alana. I think that's the major difference, which they're defining here to be huge spells mage and control mage. I think that's the difference. I think the one wasn't running Alana.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, from a very macro point of view, they're kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to destroy aggro decks and kind of outlast some of the control decks, but they're gonna probably lose to a few of the decks that can do really big things.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. So I mean, no Shaman, no Warrior.
Yeah.
It's not really a surprise, right? Shaman used to be king of the aggro mirrors. Not so much anymore.
I would have liked to see someone. If someone had tried like a very anti-aggro lineup, maybe they could have found Shaman. for a tournament lineup. I mean, I think you could have guessed that maybe one person would have gone for it, but as it happened, no one did.
I think there's so much on the stake, like on the lines here. I mean, we've seen some meme stuff before at like BlizzCons, but there's so much on the line here that I think nobody wanted to try anything too left field there. Okay, so let's dig into the actual games themselves, and then we'll see which players have brought what. So we've got a spreadsheet here for the matchup. So it's ESL or GSL groups format. So we've got Group A here. We have Hoy versus Doc Pone. So this is to start us off. Hoy has Aggro Druid, Murloc Paladin, Raza Priest, and Control Warlock. And Doc Pone has Jade Druid, Raza Priest, Temper Rogue, and Q Block. So let's have a look at Hoy's decks first, I think, just to get a brief idea of what kind of... I mean, this looks like a pretty standard Aggro Druid, except he has the Betatide Hydra, which has seen some cuts, or, you know, in favor of Cobalt Scalebanes, if you want to be better against Priest. So I'm imagining with this lineup, his choice is going to be to ban Priest, right?
Absolutely, and I think it's worth saying, I'm going to see quite a lot of this, is Galactic Crawler's return.
Yeah.
And big time.
Yeah.
And that's unexpected. I mean, just as Dib was saying, I mean, that is expected. As Dib was saying, the aggro decks are here, the Temper Rogues here, and I think if we see aggro Druid, we should expect that the lineup is probably targeting a rogue list or something with pirates.
It's definitely a little bit better against rogue, but because of the Galactic Crawlers. You know, for a while, I think if you look at the ladder stats, they're a little bit skewed against that matchup. Like against rogue, the aggro Druid is not as good as it should be because a lot of the ladder lists were running like Double Direwolf Alpha instead of Galactic Crawler, and that makes a big difference. So if we look at Hoy's lists here,
can I tell you what's sticking out as a sore thumb as we start is where is this Face Hunter going to win? Well, what is it going to beat?
I don't know, but that's an orange problem, and we'll get to that in the next match, I suppose. Okay. So Hoy's Druid relatively standard here. We've got the double Galaka. No surprise there, as we were discussing. He even has one Direwolf Alpha as well, so he has extra early game. Direwolf Alpha can be really nice, especially if you get the Firefly opening.
Yeah,
like totally. On the coin as well. Tar Creeper as well. This looks like it's heavily ticked for the aggro mirrors, right? But it's like Hydra a little bit worse than the mirrors, so you can cut one and play just one here. So yeah, I mean that seems like exactly what this deck is meant for. I mean even Bloodsail Corsair over the captains that we've seen in some of the lists in order to just be better against rogue in particular.
Yeah, I mean looking at this list, I would expect the rest of his lists to be pretty good against rogue and probably the other Dread mirrors. Yeah. I mean before I looked at any of the lists, I said to myself, what I'm expecting most people to bring is a control priest, a control warlock, and 2 aggressive decks, and those aggressive decks are going to have pirates. So I think aggro druid as a defensive aggro druid is quite a good space where you're probably going to ban one of the controllers, as we said, priest. Probably going to lose the warlock, and you're probably your rest of your decks are going to target the rest. So let's see how if that's consistent.
Yeah. Okay. If we look at his warlock, this is a control warlock, pretty much straight up. I mean, we see double twisting nether, which helps a lot against the rogue matchup. We've got double siphon soul as well. That also helps against rogue if they try build big boards with bone mare and whatnot. I personally find the deck can sometimes struggle. I mean, we've even got the double dirty rat as well. Dirty rat's not particularly good against rogue.
No, so that's where a bit of an inconsistency comes in. Is the dirty rats. What I find quite interesting in this deck is the double twisted nether with the Skulking Geist. I mean, is he maybe targeting a bit of Jade Druidia to be able to to play the Geist? Then he's got ways to with 2 souls and 2 nethers he can kill the big Jades. Maybe he's hoping to mull Jade Druid. That's also a bit of a target.
I think it is definitely possible to fatigue Jade Druid with this, partly because of N'Zoth as well. When N'Zoth is bringing back 2 to 4 Void Lords, that can be really painful for Jade Druid to get through.
Absolutely.
Because if you play Gul'dan first and then you play N'Zoth afterwards, you're going to be getting back 4 Void Lords hopefully. This list doesn't have like the weapon that we'll see in some of the other control warlock lists a bit later, but it does have the 1 Spellbreaker, which is interesting. I assume meant for the mirror, right? To try and silence the possessed lackeys?
Yeah, it must be. I got to be honest, I find it a bit of an odd choice. I can't exactly place it, but I guess for the mirror it must be.
Yeah, and even a Samurai Chain Gang, that's also a bit odd, right?
Yeah.
Not something we see very often. You'd assume it's something to be teched against aggro.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's trying to target aggro with this list, with the double nether and your early control. But I'm kind of interested to see how it works, because it's also a little bit greedy. So
yeah,
I think he might struggle in some of the aggro matchups. But I'm intrigued.
I've been playing a list similar to this, and I don't really like it that much. In fact, I think I was actually just playing this exact list.
Okay.
Bar the chain gangs, I think. I was playing a very similar list to this, but I wasn't too sold on it, but also think I was just playing poorly. Next we have Priest, relatively standard Razakis Priest. He does have the Galactic Crawler in it as well, furthering that idea that he wants to target the rogues. We have seen Galactic Crawler in like Psycho piloted it to rank 1 legend, so it has been seeing a bit of play. Also the Raza over the Gadgetan, better against Warlock, and better against Jade Druid, because you just get extra cards for free, and extra cards are important because against Jade Druid, their game plan is to out-survive your damage, basically.
What I find quite interesting about this list is, it's very standard today, but it's just kind of interesting that people are playing both Galactic Crawler and Mind Blast, because there was a time when you kind of either targeted aggro and you played the Crawler, or you targeted control and played the Mind Blast, and it's kind of like, these days, the Mind Blast is so good that you just
Mind Blast is just core.
Like played in every list.
you don't have a choice. Mind Blast, Valen, like those used to be tech choices in Razor Priest. Now they're just core, and I think you can just afford to be greedier because of extra clear. Psychic Scream, the big thing there.
Exactly.
Like it just gives you so much more, like so many more ways to deal. I mean, we've also got like the Pyromancer, which is also pretty good against a lot of the aggro decks.
As a rogue deck, how many times have you played against Priest, they haven't even got their combo and they just go like Villain Mind Blast and you're on 10 because you're a rogue and you've been using a weapon, and it happens.
I've done it more times, I think, as a Priest. Okay. I was playing a bunch of the Priest and kept winning games without playing Shadow Reaper Anduin or Raza. I was like, what's going on? Just winning with minion pressure. And then Prophet Valen. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard Priest.
Yeah, nothing that interesting.
The Paladin, it looks relatively standard, except that it's a bit greedy. I mean, we've got Fincher, not something that we've seen. I was actually having a discussion earlier on stream about Fincher and kind of why it's not seeing play as much, because it's a bit slower, which is interesting. I mean, I suppose the choice of Fincher is related to his option to include Spikeridge Steed, right? Just because it's a curve like that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's interesting to think, why has he gone for this? He's gone for the Murloc.
I think I see what he's doing as well. He's cut the Pirate package. Okay. So he wants to be better against the other aggro decks, and Spikeridge Steed is really good in aggro mirrors.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very good in aggro.
No Galactic targets.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that it looks to me like he's kind of doing an anti-Jade Druid and anti-aggressive decks lineup. That seems like his goal. Although he's not all in on anything.
Yeah.
His deck can beat anyone. He's one of the few players not playing Rogue, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that he thought that a lot of people were going to play a Rogue, anti-mirror Rogue sort of lineup, and he's gone for the aggro lineup without Rogue that's targeting both Rogue and Jade Druid. And I like it. I think it's great. I think he could win.
Well, let's see. I mean, Hoyer is definitely a quality player. He won the Summer Championships, I think it was.
Not entirely
He won one of them. So let's see who he's going to be up against. He's going to be up against Doc Pone, who has Jade Druid and Tempo Rogue, two of the things that we're saying he's kind of targeting. He has the Dragon Raza Priest and Q-Block. So we'll have a quick look at his decks. But first of all, what are your thoughts on kind of the Dragon version of the Raza Priest?
I played it a bit today, funnily enough, and I'm not sold. You're playing against aggressive decks and you get the wrong dragons at the wrong time and suddenly you get run over very quickly. Yeah. I think it's good for the mirror.
It is supposed to be, right? Because you're getting extra value, you're getting the dragons, which obviously a little bit more resistant to the board clear from the priest. Draconid Operatives obviously really good in the mirror.
Yeah.
You're drawing a card from basically your deck.
Yeah.
Or the better version of your deck, in my opinion.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, it definitely can be pretty good. You also just get more minion pressure. So when you get to that Shadow Reaper Anduin, you can actually kill them a little bit faster.
Is that an Alexstrasza I see though?
Yeah, it is.
So what is he doing here? He's playing Alexstrasza.
I mean, it helps against Jade Druid, right? In a way. Helps against Q-Block if they've healed. I'm not sure. I mean, it's also just it's for self-heal. So sometimes.
By turn 9, yeah.
It's self-heal and it's a dragon you can hold in your hand. Holding a dragon in your hand is a big problem with this deck at times.
That is true. I have to be honest with you though, I'm not like too worried about what priest people are playing because I think it's going to be banned like a lot of matchups.
Fair times. This is definitely looking, but this kind of priest gives us an indication then, right, that he is wanting to hit priest. I mean, that's combined with the fact that he has Jade Druid, which is definitely looking like it is a deck that is probably one of the best matchups against priest. He doesn't have the Oaken Summons thing. He has like Jade Spirit to make it slightly better in the mirror, I think, because you get the higher Jade count faster, whereas Oaken Summons is kind of useless in the mirror.
Yeah, I think you're on the money there. I think he's not banning priest.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. So let's look more and see what we think he will ban.
So he has the Rogue with Lich King as well for some extra value. He has a Cobalt Scalebane, which got cut from a lot of the lists. So that's definitely screaming non-priest ban again. Otherwise everything else standard. Elven Minstrel, you want 2 of those if you want to beat priest as well. And then his Warlock. So he has the Cube version with Doomguard. He also has Zoth. So he has some of the extra value, has some of the heal against the priest, which can help. He even has Teldoram as well to go with the cube, and I suppose his plan here is to cube combo the priest, or to just leave it in his warlock to last. And
the question is, the priest. Would you rather have the cube or the priest if you were playing them against each other?
I would rather have the priest.
I'd rather have the priest. So I think that he's probably not going to ban priest, and he's going to try push this warlock through, and hope to hit the non-priest. And then his other decks are going to get through. So what is he banning? He's probably going to ban something that is good against his warlock, right?
Is he banning the control warlock? I mean, it's got Geist, right? So it beats the Jade Druid.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent against the Tempo Rogue, probably.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think he's banning the control warlock.
I mean, he doesn't need to ban the Murloc Paladin.
No.
He's got his Q block, his Tempo Rogue, even his priest, but he definitely expect the priest to be banned. The Druid, his lineup is fine, although the aggro Druid is favored against Jade Druid.
Yeah, but I think that Dark Pawn will say, you know what, if I can win a game with my Q block, the rest of my decks will get through priest. So the big question is, can he get? So what is his Q block good against? And it's definitely good against aggro Druid and Murloc Paladin. So I think that's what it's going to be all about. You know, is he's going to ban his opponent's warlock, and he's gonna just hope that he runs that Q block into something other than priest.
So who do we think wins this game then? Hoy or Dark Pawn? Personally, this is one of the few ones where I don't rate Dark Pawn that highly as a player.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I kind of always want to pick Hoy here without even looking at the lineups. If we saw the way Hoy piloted at the championship that he won, it was amazing the way he played. So personally, I kind of want to favor Hoy. I also think that the aggro Druid is a little bit better here. It hits the Rogue, it hits the Jade Druid. He just needs to avoid queuing it into the Warlock. The Jade Druid a lot weaker, I think, overall against Hoy's lineup. Because he doesn't have the extra armor gain, I think they can struggle against the Priest to get outside of range. And against the Control Warlock, he has he's banning that, sorry. Against the aggro Druid, it's not that good. Against the Paladin, it can be a bit iffy. So for me, the big concern is Dark Pawn's Jade Druid. I'm not sure how he actually gets a win with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Jade Druid's a big problem. Well, he has to beat Priest with it. But it's not. It's people think that matchup's really good, but it's actually really tough. I mean,
I think without the extra armor gain, it's really going to hurt him.
I think it will hurt him. And then don't forget that Ho also has that. His priest has got some tech against Rogue as well. So I definitely think that Dark Pawn is gonna struggle. I think he's gonna lose.
Okay, so we're saying that Hoy is favored.
Hoy's definitely going.
Okay, so we're gonna add Hoy to our winners and Dark Pawn to our losers, because the winner of this game plays the winner of the Orange Tom game, and the loser plays the loser. So the Orange Tom game, here we get to talk about the Face Hunter and where on earth it's going to get a win. So Orange has Tempo Rogue, Control Warlock, Razagast Priest, and the Face Hunter. Obviously, the interesting thing here is the Face Hunter.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we look at this straight up, double Corridor Creeper, that's a good card. Better Hydra, good card. Flanking Strike, quite interesting. I assume it's a tech for the mirror, the aggro mirrors, right? I mean, he's got Galaka Crawler, Candle Shot. The bow is pretty good flanking strike. These are all things that look like they're teched for aggro mirrors, right?
Absolutely. And then obviously the candle shot and the hydra can be a little helpful, right? You keep the immune your whole turn, right? I'm not.
No.
Oh, you don't.
It's only when you're attacking.
Only while you're attacking. Sorry, no. I was kind of a bit optimistic there. So I mean, look. I mean, I'm not saying aggro hunter is a bad deck. I'm just saying that with aggro hunter is not good against other aggro decks. That is the big problem with Hunter.
Usually, yeah. But I mean, candle shots can make a big difference there. Like, deckhand helps a lot as well. The pirates help a lot to have a bit better early game. And the crawler, although it's weird obviously having crawler and pirates in your deck, but I think Hunter can make it work. Hunter makes crawler work about as well as aggro druid, which is the best you can hope because of the beast synergy.
Yeah.
With Razor Maul and stuff. Diamol is also pretty good against... I think Diamol helps in the aggro matchups a lot. The big thing is, like, in a lot of the aggro matchups is you're not playing Killer Sythe.
No.
But I suppose sometimes that's better. If you look at aggro druid, it's better in a lot of the matchups. It doesn't play Killer Sythe either. Anyway, let's actually look at the rest of his decks. So he has the Control Warlock, double Gnome Ferratu, which is good in the mirror, just to get the game to fatigue faster. The Warlock mirror is very often... You expect to always go to fatigue in the Warlock mirror, so making your opponent, forcing them to draw essentially with Gnome Ferratu is quite powerful. Like, even if you don't mill any useful cards, obviously you mill something like Gul'dan, that's massive, you probably just win on the spot, but that's not actually that important. The fact is you're just milling a card.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think it could also be pretty strong against Jade Druid. I see the Geist at the bottom.
Yeah, he's got Geist. He's also got Rin, which is another thing that hits Jade Druid.
Absolutely.
If you don't Geist them first.
So yeah, I think that it looks to me like he's... I mean, we're still going to look at the rogue list, but it looks to me, when I look at a Hunter deck and I look at this sort of a Warlock deck, it sounds like he's trying to attack greedy decks. I mean, would you say that's about fair?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they seem a little bit at odds, but I suppose the thing is, in the Hunter he has the Spellbreaker, which is pretty important as a tech choice to help against the Control Warlock decks in particular.
I haven't played this matchup very much, but I mean, looking at this aggro Hunter, would you think you'd be favored against Control Warlock? I mean, you could be.
I struggle to see how you beat Lackey on 5 except with Spellbreaker as a response. That's my biggest issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't put on a really immense amount of pressure, and Dark Pact is a problem. Like, Dark Pact is a problem.
The Dark Pact's a problem, but you've got your hero power, you've got your burn spells, you've got your nut draws. I would be intrigued. I'm excited to watch it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how the Hunter goes. And Orange is a big fan of his Hunter, so I'm sure he'll be piloting it well at least. Okay, and then we have Highlander Priest, relatively standard one. The Loot Hoarder over the Galaka, which is usually something you want for the mirror rather than the aggro matchups. And Lyra, otherwise it's pretty standard. Glimmer Roots, no Tar Creeper. And
he does have Tar Creeper.
Oh, he does. Okay, he's got all the three drops. Just not that common. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty common list. I think he's just expecting to have it banned very often.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know if I like the Loot Hoarder given the choice that his other decks look like he's trying to target aggro. I maybe would prefer Galaka, but it's pretty minimal. The deck does pretty well against aggro anyway.
I think you're entirely right. I think he probably didn't put as much testing time in that deck because he was just like, standard priest deck. It's going to be banned most of the time. When it doesn't get banned, it's going to win most of the time. So let's not try to be too clever. Yeah, is what I think he did.
Interesting though that he has Scalebane in the rogue. Scalebane kind of usually an indicator you don't want to ban priest. But I mean, with his lineup, I don't see how you win against priest with Hunter Warlock.
Yeah, I think he's banning priest.
So I think he's banning priest, right?
Yeah. It is a one of those, so maybe he just thinks it's a good card, top of your curve.
Yeah, it gives him a little bit more of a curve sometimes. I still really like Lotus Assassin if you want to tech for mirror, like aggro mirrors, personally, because you can like trade on 5. Favorable trade, and then
is he trying to go for the mirror though? Because I mean, his Hunter's pretty bad against rogue. His Warlock's pretty average against rogue. I mean, maybe
I don't think the Hunter is terrible against rogue.
Oh, you're right. You have the crawler, so you probably
and you get a lot of face damage in. Like the face, like it. Current Tempo Rogue doesn't struggle that much against like really aggro decks, but it probably struggles against this one.
Okay, interesting. We're giving rogue quite a hard time here. We keep saying that decks are going to do well against rogue, so.
I mean, I think it's because a lot of people are gearing their lineups and their decks to it, because it's probably the single most expected thing. Like, Priest players could have gone other ways other than Razor Priest. We see not many did. In fact, there's more Razor Priests than there are Tempo Rogues, but Tempo Rogue is pretty much the only rogue to bring in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. And he's going to be playing against Tom 60229.
Yeah.
Tempo Rogue, Q Block, Razor Priest, Jade Druid. Let's just have a quick look at those lists. So Q Block, relatively standard. This is in fact the exact standard Q Block, double giant, Tal'Daram Umbra. Nothing really to say about the Q Block.
Nope.
The Priest has Galaka Crawler and Gadget Sand and Lyra. So that's probably favored in the mirror. Not that the mirror is going to happen, but it probably is. In fact, he has Loot Hoarder and Galaka. What did he even cut? He cut Talon Priest for one. I don't know. Probably doesn't matter.
He also has Soul Priest, which is pretty unusual.
Orkanai. No,
Yeah.
Orkanai has been relatively common because Soko Healing's quite versatile actually. Especially if you have the Pyromancer. He doesn't have Pyromancer though. Oh, he does. Okay. Jade Druid looks pretty standard. He has Oaken Summons and Ironwood Golem, so that helps a little bit against aggro.
It's very teched for aggro.
Yeah.
He's got his only real bomb spell is Morphirian. You know, he's got nothing.
Yeah, it's just Jades and aggro and anti-aggro cards, really.
Yeah, so I would say that this.
He's even got Wrath, which we've seen cut from a lot of lists.
Exactly, and he's got double Spellstone, which is sometimes played, but generally I've never seen two Spellstones and a Wrath. So I think this deck is pretty hardcore anti-aggro.
Yeah. Okay, and then the Rogue looks anti-Priest, double Scalebane, Lich King.
Is Lich King strong against Priest?
Lich King can be pretty good for value. Usually you force them to use a death by then.
Yeah.
So the death is not an option, and honestly against Priest, you don't often win when they just go Shadow Reaper on 8. So you pretty much have to ignore that and not play around it, I think, as the Rogue. Absolutely. So you Bone Mare your thing, you Lich King.
Yeah.
Like, also theoretically you Bone Mare something, he Shadow Reaper and wins, you Lich King. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's quite a good thing to talk about that pros do, is that they're willing to go all in at the right time.
Yeah.
And if you're playing Rogue versus Priest, you do have to do that. You have no choice.
Yeah,
there is a position
we
always.
saw that when Ball Control was testing the matchup against Sythe on Pheno Stream. That's pretty much how the matchup went. It was one of the ones I watched quite closely. Like if Sythe was saying, you just, as the Priest player, he was saying that the Rogue shouldn't really respect the Anduin because you have to Bone Mare because you have to kill them fast enough. And if they have Raza and 8, Anduin and 5, those like mostly all the games that Sythe was winning. He was actually struggling in the other ones.
Yeah.
But Ball Control is obviously a very well-known, strong Rogue player. Okay, so we've seen the decks. It looks like Tom's trying to hit Rogue a little bit. Do you think the Druid fares decently against the Rogue? I'm not sure about that. The Oaken Summons is nice. Golem's good.
I think yeah. I mean, the Jade Druid is probably if your Jade Druid can be good against Rogue, this one will be.
Yeah.
I would say that's true, and I think that Jade Druid might do quite well against the Face Hunter with all the armor.
Yeah, the Jade Druid against Face Hunter seems tricky. Q Block seems decent against Face Hunter. I mean, it has all the ways to cheat out the Void Lord, which really matters. Like, it's not the healing and it's the other things that matter. It's cheating out the Void Lord. If you cheat out the Void Lord against the Face Hunter, you win, right?
But you just have to cross your fingers and hope they don't have Spellbreaker.
Yeah, and you have to cheat it out by turn 5.
Yeah.
Because if you're cheating it out any earlier, it's a problem.
I
think the Face Hunter could actually do well.
Yeah, I think the Face Hunter. I think that Face Hunter is gonna be interesting. I don't know where to place it.
Oh, so we were saying Orange bans Priest, though, right?
Yeah. I think they're both banned in Priest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you with me on that?
I think so. I mean, it looks like Tom's. It's weird because his Rogue seems like he wants to be able to beat Priest with it. I don't know what other deck he wants to ban, though.
Yeah. But even
actually, how does he ban Priest? He has Jade Druid and Tempo Rogue that's tech to beat Priest, and his Razor Priest is tech for the mirror with Lyra and Gadget Sam.
Okay, so we're not banning Priest.
So he's not banning Priest.
He's not banning Priest. So then, what is he banning? I mean, is he ever
He bans Control Warlock because Jade Druid's bad against that. Rogue can struggle. He doesn't have Spellbreakers. He's Cobalt Scalebane, so he's banning Control Warlock. in this matchup, right?
We could ban Face Hunter. I mean, I know I've mocked Face Hunter at first, but I mean, maybe it's
it gets a win by not having to play.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But yeah.
I think you ban Warlock just as a more solid deck, right?
Yeah.
Like your Cube Lock is unfavored in that matchup. Your Tempo Rogue is meh without the Spellbreakers. Especially in the Dirty Rats. Actually, I don't know if Dirty Rats honestly make it better or worse for the Control Lock.
Yeah, it's
Jade Druid is as teched as you're gonna get against the Control Lock as well. Like the extra armor helps a lot.
It does.
Well, actually, the Jade Druid is going to struggle against the Warlock more than anything. Yeah,
the extra armor
it's teched against all the other things.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you're probably right. I think I'm not a big fan of attacking Priest. I try to do it in my preparation for ESL, and it's a difficult deck to beat.
And that was when it was a worse deck before Psychic Scream.
With Psychic Scream, it's difficult. And that Tempo Rogue matchup, even with the dragons, is it really even favorable? I don't know. I'm not sold.
Okay, so are we gonna say orange wins?
I'm putting orange.
So the Rogue is favored against. The Rogue's 50-50 against the Priest, let's say. Oh no, he's banning Priest, sorry. The Rogue's... I think it's 50-50 against the Cube Lock, maybe. It's 50-50 against the Rogue, and it's favored against the Jade Druid? Can we even say that? I think Tempo Rogue is going to be a bit of an iffy one for Orange to get a win with, maybe.
That is true. Tempo Rogue might struggle.
The Face Hunter, I feel like he can get a win against Rogue or even possibly Jade Druid if he doesn't hit Oaken Summons. Like Wild Growth into Oaken Summons. That's how you beat the Jade, the
aggro Druid. I think this Face Hunter is going to struggle against Jade Druid. I really do. I think with all that armor, it's going to be uphill.
And then it struggles against No, it should be fine against Cube Lock. We're saying that, right? Because you have to hit Lackey.
Yeah, you've got the
You have to hit Lackey on 5.
Yeah,
like it's not even the Spellbreaker. It's you have to do Lackey or Weapon Skull into. So
I think the Face Hunter is actually going to be quite strong in this matchup. I think that
is he just targeting Cube Lock? Is that the plan here, right? I mean, the Razor Priest is good, the Face Hunter is good. We're saying the Tempo Rogue is probably his weakest, and Control Warlock, this one's teched for the mirror.
Yeah. So his Control Warlock's going to lose. It's going to be interesting. I think that it's going to be so his Priest is probably a little bit weak, and his Rogue's probably a little bit weak on Orange's side, and on Tom's side his Rogue is quite weak. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I think this could go either way.
It does seem close. I'm tempted to favor Orange, but honestly, like Tom 60229 is a really good player. Like we've seen him at like multiple championships.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely not a player to like sleep on just because he's not from the West, basically.
Yeah. I would say.
I mean, I'm tempted to even say Tom just because his decks are just more solid, right? Face Hunter is the thing that scares me.
Okay, let's put Tom through. I'm happy. I'm happy to switch here. Let's say Tom.
So Tom, and we're gonna say Orange will play Dark Foreman.
Cool.
Fucking spell. So now that we know these decks, Tom versus Hoy.
Okay.
So these ones, Aggro Druid, Murloc Paladin, Razor Priest, Control Warlock. Against this, he's still going to ban the Control Warlock, correct?
Yes.
Because his Cube Lock does fine. Hoy's still going to be banning the Priest. So it's going to be Aggro Druid, Murloc Paladin, Control Warlock versus Tempo Rogue.
No. He's...
right, so
yes.
It'll be Priest now. Those versus Tempo Rogue, Cube Lock, and Jade Druid.
So Tempo Rogue versus Murloc Paladin? You say the Tempo Rogue's probably quite strong.
Yeah, Tempo Rogue's pretty good against the Murloc Paladin. The Cube Lock is weak against the Razor Priest. It's okay against Aggro Druid. Like, you've got enough clear. You should be okay against Aggro Druid, but it's not that favored. Jade Druid is unfavored against Aggro Druid, even this list, I think.
Yeah.
Because you just don't have ways to deal with the whiteboard if they just keep buffing it and stuff.
That is true. Although you will have more time to find your spread and
play.
play.
Also has a bit of tired, which helps.
That is definitely true. Yeah, I would say Hoyish gets through this, just about. Just because of I think that Jade Druid is going to struggle. I think it needs to beat. Look, the Jade Druid is going to need to find armor and spread and plague, and that's how he's going to get through. But I just think that. That Murloc Paladin is very difficult to get through with without a very strong hand, and Aggro Druid comes down to spread and plague. Do you find it in time?
I think the Murloc Paladin is fine against the Jade Druid.
For Jade Druid or for Murloc Paladin?
For Murloc Paladin.
Yeah, I think it's very strong for Murloc Paladin.
Right. You're saying the Jade Druid.
The Jade Druid needs to draw quite well. So yeah, I mean,
he does have the Wrath, which helps against the Ward Leader, for instance.
Yeah,
but
it does help.
Ward Leader's not the biggest problem, honestly.
It's not the biggest problem. You know, it's about
Megasaurs that smashes.
It's Megasaurs and it's Sunkeeper Torrents.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you're suffering, and at the end of the day, and white boards. You know, white boards are tough. You have to find that plague, and the problem is, as soon as you find the plague, the Megasaur can kill them all. It's difficult for Jade Druid.
Okay, so we're going to say Ahoy makes it through from the group as the winner. And then in the losers game, Doc Pawn versus Orange.
Okay, so let's see.
So Doc Pawn, well, let's say Orange is going to ban the Priest still, right? Yeah. Doc Pawn, he's still going to ban Warlock if he was banning it before, I think.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Tempo Rogue, Razor Priest, and Face Hunter versus Jade Druid. Not Razor Priest. Tempo Rogue, Cube Lock.
Yeah.
Oh man, why does this thing not ever want to unselect?
Tempo Rogue. Yeah. Well, Cube Lock's probably quite weak here.
I mean, it's the same thing, right? Tom 60229's lineup is only different by the fact that he's playing the Dragon Razor Priest versus the Razor Priest. Otherwise, the decks are the exact same. In fact, Doc Pawns is weaker against the Rogue, I believe, because he doesn't have the Oaken Summons, and weaker against the Priest. So I think if we say Orange is favored against Tom, he has to be more favored against Doc Pawn.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Cool, let's run with that.
Okay, so Orange wins. Then we have Orange versus Tom again. So I mean, it's close. Like, honestly, this could be either of them, because either one of them could be in that similar situation where they win or lose the first game. But Orange, I mean, we said him before.
Yeah, I mean, if he wins the first one, he wins the second one. I mean, we have to go with that.
Have to be consistent.
Yeah, I the one thing that I do find quite interesting, I'm not sold on, is this Jade Druid losing to Murloc Paladin just because of all the extra armor. Like, I haven't played the matchup, so I'm a little nervous about going for it, but I do feel like that Paladin will
I don't think the armor matters as much as finding ways to clear the board.
Yeah.
I think it's more important to hit, like, Spreading Plague into Arcane Tyrant to fight for the board.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to stick with that then. So yeah, I say Hoj wins it and Orange comes second.
Oaken Summons is the massive thing against the Paladin, because it's difficult for the Paladin to deal with the 3/6. Like, it's the Iron Golem that it's, if you think about it, it's 3 damage to 2 minions a lot of the time, which hurts against a Rogue because they have a lot of 3/3s, and it hurts against Druid, hurts against Paladin, hurts against Druid. It's pretty much the thing to me for against the aggro decks.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Sunkeeper is a problem. Right. Yeah, let's go. I'm happy with this. I think Hoj and Orange are probably getting through, and yeah, I think their decks are good.
Okay, Group B, we have Muzzy, Jason Zhao in our first game. Tempo Rogue, Cube Lock, Dragon Razor Priest, and Aggro Druid. So I think most of these lists from Muzzy are relatively standard, except for the Cube Lock. I think that's the interesting one here. So the Aggro Druid, this is almost exactly what we saw previously, just a little bit more early tech, I think. Yeah, I mean, he has 1 bit of Tide Hydra as well as the captain. Okay, as the Galaka. So yeah, that's what he's saying. So this Warlock is the interesting one, right? He's playing Doomsayer and Gnome Feratu. So Doomsayer clearly anti-aggro, Gnome Feratu meant to be good against the Mirror, because you can remove a card from the deck.
And Jade Druid.
Yeah, and then Defile, which is good against...
But he's cut to Defile.
Yeah, but like... so... The thing with this thing is, with this deck is, because this is a more control one, right? He's not playing Doomguard, but he's still playing Carnivorous Cube, Faceless Manipulator, and Skull of the Minari. Which means what he's trying to do is cheat out Voidlord. That's all this deck's about. It's about cheating out Voidlord. So this deck is, please don't draw Voidlord. That's the story here.
Yeah, I mean, this deck is planning to go long. I mean, it doesn't. I think this deck is trying to beat other control decks.
I think so, but it has a game against the aggro decks, because if you do draw Voidlord, it's Skull of the Minari, right? Like, and that can be pretty good against aggro decks.
Turn 6, if you don't draw your Defile, good luck, you know?
Sure. I mean, the 1 Defile hurts a little bit, but he does have double Dark Pact. Has Doomsayer to slow things down.
Well, Dark Pact, you don't have a huge number of targets, you know, in the early game.
I mean, you can Dark Pact Mistress if you get a value trade. You can Cube Mistress. I really like Cube Mistress as a way to heal up as well.
Yeah.
You like Cube Mistress Dark Pact, it's pretty nuts for healing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the aggro deck's probably going to kill that Mistress. They're probably going to trade into it. And
most of the time, but like, especially when you know the whole list.
Which they do.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a lot of cards here that aren't good against white boards. I mean, Skulk and Geist is terrible. Your Skull is terrible if you don't find your Void Lord. Your Void Lord's terrible if you don't find your Skull. Your Twisting Nethers are way too slow. Your Nazat does nothing. You know, you've got a lot.
Twisting Nether is good against the Rogue, right? That's kind of where the...
Yes,
so
that's
this is
true.
It's meant to be a little bit better against the Rogue in that sense.
No, that is true. Although, to be fair, he has cut out a file for a Doomsayer. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Doomsayer does a similar job, it's just more proactive about it, right?
And he's got the Tainted Zealot as well. That's
yeah,
really
and he
interesting,
cuts
eh?
Mortal Coil as well. That's one of the other
That's
things.
so strange to play the Zealot and cut at a file in the Mortal Coil.
Yeah, I mean, Zealot's not the worst. It's just drop on 2 sometimes against some of the aggro decks. It was a 1-1, but...
Sure, I have to tell you, I hate this deck. I think it's
really
terrible. Yeah,
I really like this deck. I think it's a good balance between hedging against the aggro matchups and the control matchups.
Yeah, maybe I guess I just see it as trying to do too much, but I'm keen to see it play.
Yeah, and I mean I trust Muzzy. In Muzzy, I believe. Okay, the Druid we looked at. The Priest. This is relatively standard. The Dragon version.
Well, he's
it
brought
has
the Drakes
Skulking
back.
Geist as well.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And no Alex Strauzer kind of thing.
Yeah, but he's playing Drake. It's essentially a set of the Alex Strauzer, I guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's not much.
Which Drake are you talking about?
Sorry, the Primordial.
Oh, but no, the other deck was also playing
was it?
Primordial and Alex Strauzer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing there that shouts to me. It looks like a
And
dragon.
then a Rogue. No Scalebanes. He's definitely banning Priest.
So what?
Sonya for the aggro mirrors.
So is Sonya all about the aggro mirror?
Yeah. Getting the extra 1/1, especially if you get like patches or a South Sea deckhand from the charge, is pretty nuts.
If you can get it to survive, then it's very good.
SI is obviously amazing too.
Yeah.
If you get that from Sonya. So there's quite a few good targets for Spine. It's also crazy.
He's playing no big minions. No
Lich King.
No Lich King.
Scalebane.
No Scalebane.
No, it's just Bone Mare Creeper. That's the top end.
Very interesting.
But he also has the Cold Blood and the Leroy, which is to help against the more control decks. So you have the burst. I really like Cold Blood, to be honest, but I'm like a little bit biased in favor of Cold Blood and Rogue right now. Like I've been a big fan of it since the beginning. The interesting thing was apparently this is card for card what Zalay and Muzzy was on the team as well. Team Lowell played in Trinity Series a couple days after the expansion launched.
That is incredible.
Card for card.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's not that different to Rogue. I mean, it's going to do what Rogue does. You know,
a little bit better in the aggro mirrors because of Sonya. Worse against Priest, but he does have the burst.
Yeah, I would say this deck will struggle against Priest just because you've got you can't get through the removal. You know, your AOEs, you just can't get through them because you've got nothing big.
You do get a little bit of extra value from like Minstrel. You draw through your deck a little bit more. Minstrel Sonya kind of nonsense.
Does Sonya do anything against Priest though? Because you need your guys to die in your turn.
I know, but very often if Priest like has something up, they play into your Minstrel being up. They're not going to kill the Minstrel very often.
That's true.
But if they know you have Sonya, they might. Anyway, so the Rogue relatively standard, and then Jason Zhao. I'm just going to look through these decks quickly.
Totally.
Let's get an idea of what he's playing. The Aggro Druid, double Hydra, one Galaka.
So these decks are pretty much the same, right?
One Hungry Crab.
One Hungry Crab. That is very...
One Hungry Crab, one Galaka. So he's hedged against Murloc Paladin, and this seems like he made a bad meta call.
Yes.
But inside Hydra doesn't feel very good right now.
No.
He has to ban Priest, right? I feel like. But
yeah, he's banning Priest. I think they're both banning Priest.
Warlock. Yeah, this is very much a control Warlock. One Gnome Ferratu, so that's not going to help him in the mirror.
Yeah.
I think with the extra Void Lords that Muzzy can get, he should be favored in the mirror.
Yeah.
The Faceless Manipulator, you can Faceless his opponent's Void Lords if he cheats them out. He gets the Spritsinger Umbra, and he had the Taldaram too, I think. So.
And what about...
he has like Mortal Coil. Mortal Coil is terrible in the mirror.
And the Ooze, is that for the mirror?
Yeah, the Ooze can help in the mirror, but once you cheat out one Void Lord, you're probably okay with it.
So
Ooze is like for Q block more than the control Warlock, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it could be quite a big spin if he goes turn 5 weapon and then he just kills it with the ooze, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be big enough to swing the whole game.
Could be. I feel like the game most of the time goes to 30 cards though, and
that's true.
If you mill the queue, if you destroy the weapon in 30 cards, it probably doesn't matter. It just means Jason Zhao is going to have to be the slightly more aggressive one then, because he needs to hit that, and then he needs to like Gul'dan and N'Zoth before him, right? So that he gets ahead on the Void Lords.
Yeah, I put Muzzy.
He also has Spellbreaker, so he can stop the weapon and he can stop the lackey, right?
So we agreeing here that Muzzy's Druid list is better and his Warlock list is better.
Yeah, pretty much in the mirrors at least. The priest. Well, Muzzy wins the priest mirror on the fact of the dragons, right?
Yeah, but they're both banning priest. Yeah, like
they're both banning priest, but
okay.
Which is interesting. Why do you bring the Raza priest, the dragon one, if you're not banning priest? If you're banning priest.
Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe he just has more experience with it.
One Scalebane, Sonya.
There's actually two. You said Scalebane. Sorry, I thought you said
one Scalebane, one Minstrel, one Tar Creeper. Muzzy had 2 Tar Creepers.
They're both playing Sonya, eh?
Yeah, they're both playing Sonya.
Match of muchness, I would say. Would you say there's any clear...
Wait, did Muzzy have 2 Scalebanes? No, I mean, he had no Scalebane, sorry. Oh, he had Cold Blood. That was the other card.
Yes, Cold Blood. I like Cold Blood in the mirror. What do you think of Cold Blood?
Yeah, Cold Blood is really good in the mirror, I think.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Just to get through those Tar Creepers and...
Oh, and you just turn your Firefly into trading up. You turn everything into trading up.
Yeah.
It's really good, I think.
I would say Muzzy's like a good 10 to 15% the favorite in this matchup.
I mean, across all the mirrors, he's favored, is basically what we're saying.
And across other lineups, like, the Druid versus Rogue, I prefer Muzzy's Druid Muzzy's Druid is more favored against the Rogue than the other way around, I just think Muzzy's, with the double crawlers and...
Yeah, his Warlock is better against the Rogue as well.
Yeah.
I think Muzzy is a fairly clear favorite here.
Cool.
But they're probably both banning Priest, although I actually don't think it matters what they ban. I think Muzzy's still favorite. I think Jason Zhao could ban something different to Priest here. Or Muzzy could, to try and throw the other one off, but I still think Muzzy wins.
Yeah, no, Muzzy wins this. I think Muzzy's decks, and not only in the mirror, I think Muzzy's... I actually just think Muzzy's got better decks.
Yeah. I'm tempted to say Muzzy's a better player, but Jason Zhao is ridiculously consistent. Like, he's just always there.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's really easy to underrate him, though, because his performances when we see him from the Western side have been terrible. Yeah. But he's just always there, so he must be doing something, right? Okay, and here we come to one of apparently your favorite players from how you were talking about him before.
Yeah, I'm a big Kalento fan, but funny enough, I never really liked Kalento's decks, and then he always seems to win with them. So let's have a look and see if that consistency will carry on.
Okay, so Kalento versus Samuel Sal. On player base, I would say Samuel Sal is one of the weakest in the tournament.
He is the weakest.
I feel like he qualified on the back of some good luck early on. I feel like, okay, this is something I have to say. I think everyone that qualified in the first championships is going to be worse off than everyone that qualified later on. Because I feel like a lot of those players may not have kept up their intensity. Frozen is one of their, I would have called Frozen as a possible winner, but he's been so disappointing in every tournament we've ever seen him in since the things, like the Winter Championships, that was the first one. So I'm not convinced that, I think winning early there can actually be worse for you.
Yes, and what's actually quite interesting, as we'll see as we go further along, is the players who qualified earlier, all the players who qualified later have quite similar lists, and the players who qualified earlier have very wildly different lists. So it is quite interesting. So maybe they have refined a little bit better, the players who qualified later. But we'll look more into that later.
Okay, so Kalento, Tempo Rogue, Raza Priest, Control Warlock, Jade Druid, Samuel Sal, Tempo Rogue, Raza Priest, Zoo, and Aggro Druid.
That Zoo is quite interesting. Where are we going to start? We're going to start on Kalento.
Yeah, Kalento.
Okay, so let's have a look at Kalento's list.
Kalento, the Warlock has Rin for the mirror. If you ever get to play Azari before they're finished with cards, it's very good. Otherwise, and it's also just a 10/10.
And what is this? What is this double Dirty Rat? What is going on here?
I don't even know if it's for the mirror. I mean, he has Stonehill. I feel like his deck is definitely meant to be good in the mirror.
Plated Beetle.
For sure.
Plated Beetle, Stonehill.
Plated Beetle's an anti-aggro choice, right?
Yeah.
Dirty Rat is an anti-aggro choice. Like, it's good against Druid, it's good against Paladin.
I think this deck's made for the aggro lineups.
Yeah, but it's also, it should win a mirror against Q-Block. Like, straight up Q-Block.
Yeah, I think this deck is beating Q-Block and the mirror. I think that's what it... And probably J Druid.
Jason Zhao also has... Oh no, sorry, Samuel Sao, he doesn't even have. So, against the Zoo, the Aggro Druid, and the Tempo Rogue, we're saying the deck should be good. Maybe not Tempo Rogue. Rin doesn't really do anything. Dirty Rat doesn't really do anything. Plated Beetle's okay for a little bit of health. Stonehill can be pretty annoying.
Yeah. I would... yeah, I mean,
one Twisting Nether, one Siphon Soul, like, versus a lot of the standard lists, we're playing 2 of those.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, I would say maybe...
He does have Zealot Defile, though. Zealot Defile helps.
Zealot Defile helps a lot. I would say that maybe this matchup would be slightly favored for Rogue, but I think against the more like all-in aggressive decks, this list will be very, very strong.
Yeah. The list actually just looks good against Samuel Sao's lineup from what we're seeing so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Priest, pretty standard. Loot Hoarder, Lyra. Yeah, nothing really to report here.
Everyone's playing Binding Heal these days, eh? It's like just across the board.
It's just a 1-mana spell.
Yeah.
1-mana spells when you play...
when you combo.
When you play Velen and Radiant Elemental are pretty good. Okay, Clinto's Jade Druid. So he's playing the Oaken Summons package. No, he is playing Fandral as well. Sometimes that can be a big low roll. This is teched against aggro. Double Wrath, double Jade Idol. Double Spellstone, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Iron of Golem, Oaken Summons. And this is teched against aggro.
Yeah, and once again, nothing big except for the Malfurion.
It's just the Jades that he has.
So yeah, I would say that this is anti-aggro.
One Arcane Tyrant as well, which makes it like his hand less clunky. He wants to have more removal, less Tyrant.
Yeah, so I would say...
Tyrant is a massive blowout against aggro, though.
I would say Kalento looks like he's targeting your more greedy aggro lists, like your Hunters and your Murloc Paladins, and... I think that's what he's done. And then this list...
He's got the double Chain Gang and Tar Creeper. So he cut a Scalebane for a Tar Creeper in what you would consider a standard list, basically.
Yeah, it's still pretty standard, though. Yeah, I think he clearly just thinks Tempo Rogue's a good deck.
Yeah, Kalento likes good decks usually. He tends to favor what he thinks are good decks. Okay, so if we look at the spreadsheet, we were saying Samuel Tempo Rogue. Oh yeah, sorry, I have to look at his decks quick. Right at the bottom here, Aggro Druid. One Scalebane, no Hydra. That helps in the mirror at least, the aggro mirror. Although we can see Galento's playing Jade Druid, so I'm not sure if that helps against Jade Druid. No, it's probably weaker against Jade Druid.
It's terrible against Jade Druid, yeah, absolutely. This deck is going to get destroyed by Jade Druid because you just need one Spreading Plague and you're just never going to catch up. And there's enough armor to build up. So I think this is going to be bad.
A big problem for him now. Galaka Crawler and his Priest, so based on the fact that he has double Galaka here, the Scalebane, which is better against aggro, and he has Galaka in his Priest. So far, it's looking like he wants to hit aggro, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I would say he's going for Pirates.
He's got the Tar Creeper as well. He's got all the anti-aggro tools in the Priest. And the Rogue, he has Lich King.
Double Scalebane.
Okay. Double Scalebane, yeah, double Chain. And this looks like it's a bit more attacked against Priest, but I feel like he's probably still banning Priest. With Aggro Druid, you ban Priest. I feel like that's a fairly straight up decision.
Yeah, I think you're banning Priest, but I think that the Lich King's pretty good against other Rogue decks, or am I wrong?
We actually tested this a bit for WESG. Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced in Lich King. I think it's better to just have better early game and not. Lich King is good in the scenarios where you both are even in the early game, and then you can play Lich King, and they have nothing, you have nothing. You play Lich King.
You just crash, yeah.
But Lich King, honestly, most of the spells are not that good. Army of the Dead is by far the best to get as the rogue. So I'm not convinced Lich King is that good in the mirror. Probably not better than having 2 Elven Minstrels. That's what he's cut for the Lich King.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Warlock, Zoo, double Galaka Crawler, so not the Killer Seth version. This is obviously anti-aggro tech, right? Demon Fire. Demon Fire is actually pretty good against Priest too, I discovered. Mostly from playing this as the... the Flame Imp turn 1, Demon Fire turn 2. If you don't have Death, all of a sudden you're getting hit for 5 every turn by friggin'...
Yeah, so this deck's quite interesting. So it seems like it's...
And Blood Free Potion. So he wants to hit those demons early and then buff them.
Exactly. It seems like he's targeting quite... It's interesting because a lot of the stuff will be quite bad against aggro decks because you put in so many cards into one that you can run out of gas if that thing gets killed by aggro decks.
Yeah.
But then by the same token, he's got the Vulgar Homunculus, which is quite strong against aggro decks, and the Galaka Crawler, which is excellent against aggro decks.
Yeah.
So maybe the Homunculus pumps up. Maybe this just is good against aggro decks. I mean, you get like a turn 1 coin Homunculus, and then you pump it up. You know, maybe that's...
I think it's good against aggro decks. Soulfire is also actually really good in the aggro mirrors.
Absolutely.
So you can remove. So I think his lineup here is meant to target other aggro decks with aggro decks.
Exactly. So
that's his plan.
He wants
to play aggro mirrors all day.
Exactly. He wants to. But hang on a second. He's definitely banned in priest, right?
Yeah. He's banned in priest. With the rogue is pretty. The warlock is pretty. The zoo is pretty terrible against priest too. So Samuel Sal banned priest. Kalento, he bans the priest here because it's the good deck. Well, I mean he has Jade Druid, but that's an anti-aggro attacked Jade Druid, right?
Yeah. His
Temper Rogue is not particularly attacked against priest.
Although his Jade Druid has a lot of armor, but yeah.
Yeah, but exactly, that's the thing. The anti-aggro Jade Druid is also the one that's good against priest.
The problem with these very armory up Jade Druids is I've played the matchup quite a bit from the Razakos priest point of view, and what ends up happening is they get all this armor, but then you just combo off with Velen, and they can't kill your Velen.
Yeah, if they can't kill your villain, it's a massive problem.
Then you just win. So
you need the 6 damage spellstone and like a Wrath or something.
Exactly.
And he has 2 Wraths.
He does have 2 Wraths, so I guess it's possible. But yeah, I mean, I would say he's banning priest. So if
is he though?
okay, you think maybe not?
I think in a lot of matchups he might not ban priest, but this one I think he does.
I guess he has
because his lineup is good against the aggro druid and the zoo. Maybe he even bans the aggro druid because it's teched against the rogue. It's probably not great against the warlock, but the Jade Druid it should still be good against.
I think the Jade Druid will beat that. I don't think he bans Druid. I think he's probably banning.
I think
the rogue or the zoo. Oh yeah, or maybe he just bans the priest anyway, just because I think Kalento is like really favored here, like really favored.
I think so too. I mean, his deck's attack for aggro, and Samuel Salvage brought aggro.
Exactly.
I feel like zoo is a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the zoo and the druid are teched to beat aggro mirrors, and Kalento doesn't really have those. I mean, it's pretty much the rogue. I think Samuel Sal has to 3-0 the rogue, right?
I think that's exactly the situation.
Or maybe the druid. I mean, zoo is still theoretically good against druid. You play early cheap thing, you buff it.
Yeah.
The rogue, the zoo can't do. I mean, the druid can't deal with that.
Fair enough, but the druid can potentially get through the So I think you're banning. I think that if you're Kalento, I mean, do you ban zoo? And maybe. I mean, the zoo's very strong against. I
don't think you can ban the zoo.
I mean, the zoo will be strong against Temper Rogue.
It's actually not bad against Control Warlock too because of all the buffs.
Yeah, and you've got your Blood Reaver. That's very difficult to stop unless you get a lot of taunt in play. Maybe
you might be right. Maybe he does ban the zoo. It has the Galaka. I think you mentioned for the rogue.
What is Samuel's? Does he have a late game in his zoo?
Just the Doom Guard here.
Okay.
Corridor Creeper Bone. Oh, he has double Bone Man as well. I think this deck is actually good against Crystal Weaver. This deck is good against Jade Druid.
Yeah.
It's very good against Jade Druid. He wants to buff singular minions big, and Jade Druid doesn't deal with that. I think Kalento's Jade Druid might be in trouble.
Kalento's Jade Druid might be in trouble, but I think
this is the matchup.
This is where I disagree with you, because I think that Jade Druid is going to beat this aggro Druid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the matchup that matters, right? I'm not convinced it's so good against the... I'm just not that convinced by Jade Druid right now. I mean, aggro Druid right now. I also feel like Jade Druid is favored, but...
Yeah. Anyway, so are we agreeing that he's going to ban the Warlock? I mean, is that where we are?
That Kalento's going to ban the Warlock.
Yeah.
I think he might. I think it's certainly not the ban he went into the tournament planning.
Yeah.
Let's have one quick look. Let's look at his list. I mean, the Scale Bane, this is where it works out. The fact that he has that helps him against the Priest matchup now that he's not banning it. The Druid definitely looks like he doesn't necessarily want to ban Priest.
I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't mind that. Actually, I think that Druid will struggle against Zoo. I think it will struggle against Zoo. Just with lots of big minions that come out quickly, I think you're going to struggle.
This deck kind of struggles a bit against Zoo too.
Yeah, I'm definitely banning Zoo.
He doesn't even have Tar Creep either. Yeah, he's banning Zoo. I mean, this deck isn't that good against Zoo even. Though Defile obviously decent. Dirty Rat's okay.
Yeah, I think this list could give Zoo problems, but you know, if you get like some Void Lord action, but even that deck, that Warlock deck, like it's gonna be difficult to finish things. So yeah, I think you're banning Zoo, which is quite interesting because that's the one big risky play, and it's the one he's gonna get banned in his first matchup. So he'll feel quite validated.
Yeah, when you bring a deck that's off meta and it gets banned, you feel good because you got your supposedly on meta decks through.
Exactly.
Which I mean, Razor Priest, Temper Rogue, and
but that being said, I think he still loses.
So let's see, the Jade Druid against the Aggro Druid is statistically unfavored at like 45% for Jade Druid.
Yeah.
According to ladder stats at least.
Okay.
Which means the Jade Druid here, it has to beat Aggro Druid, which is unfavored against. The Zood would have been very unfavored against, so that banning that makes sense. I think really that is the big concern for me with Kalento's lineup. And then he has to beat Razor Priest, which he's favored against. So that's why you want to leave up the Razor Priest as well. Gives your Jade Druid a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's big. And then the Temper Rogue is unfavored against. So I think, yeah, Kalento is probably just going to win with the other two decks early and then try to get Jade Druid through against Razor Priest.
Yeah,
that's the plan, right?
I would say that that's probably what's going to happen. I think Kalento will get through.
We're also kind of favoring Kalento because we think he's a better player here.
Yeah, and he's my personal hero.
Okay, so then we have Jason Zhao versus Samuel Tsao.
Cool.
Trying to spell the name correctly. And the winners and losers match. So Muzzy Kalento. Muzzy against Kalento. He still bans Priest. I mean, this lineup is basically the same except he's playing Jade Druid here. But Muzzy has the tech in his Q block or his control warlock.
Yeah, but
it's actually more of a control warlock.
It's a bit of both.
It's in between, but it doesn't have the Doom Guards. That's why I'm going, and it has Zoth. So I'm going with that.
That's fair enough.
The Razor Priest is good. I'm pretty sure the Dragon version makes it better against Kalento's. Against the Priest, it makes it better against the Jade Druid. I'm not convinced it makes it better against the Rogue.
Look, I think that Kalento's tournament's really going to come down to whether his Jade Druid is beating Aggro Druids. You know, I think that's going to be a decider in a lot of his matchups. And I think if he can get that Jade Druid to beat this Aggro Druids, like I believe he can, I think he's going to get through this one as well. I think that's going to be a big one for him.
If we look at this, it's like Muzzy is going to struggle to get the win with his Aggro Druid, right? That's the thing. He needs to win with the Aggro Druid against the Rogue. So
absolutely,
that's his plan here.
That's his plan. He needs to beat that Rogue. And I really think that in Kalento's lineup, his Rogue kind of sticks out. Like it almost doesn't work, which makes me think that Kalento really thinks that that deck is very good.
Yeah. And it is the sign of that. Yeah.
Exactly, and he just thinks, you know what, maybe Temper Rogue will be my weak link in matchups where I'm favored with all my other decks and I just have to get my Temper Rogue through. But if that's the situation I'm in, I'm happy because Temper Rogue is so good. Yeah. And I think that's how he feels. And you know, I back him. I think he'll win this as well. I think he'll get that Rogue through, and then the others will beat Aggro Druid or Temper Rogue. You know, the worst case scenario is he's got the Temper Rogue mirror.
Yeah, I'm just thinking where Muzzy gets the win with Temper Rogue as well, right? Like, it should be favored against the Jade Druid, so I'd expect him to get the win there. The Temper Rogue is obviously a mirror. His list is a little bit more tech for the mirror with the Sonya. I kind of feel like Muzzy gets the win with his Rogue and his Warlock relatively easily.
I was about to say, dude, does Kalento not ban the Rogue?
No, he bans the Priest, right?
I don't think so. I think he could ban the Rogue.
Against the Dragon version. The Dragon version all of a sudden makes the armor pressure from the Jade Druid much worse.
That's true.
Because if you can stick any board presence as the Priest, you generally tend to win.
Okay, so you think when it comes to Dragon Priest, Kalento's probably going to ban the Dragon Priest?
Yeah. I think so.
And Dragon Priest versus Temper Rogue? I mean, where would you put that?
Because I think I don't think the extra board presence matters too much. Dustbreaker is really good.
Yeah.
If you ever hit that, Primordial Drake's pretty decent. I think it just gives you a few more tools. I think it's probably slightly better. The extra board presence is, I suppose, better than nothing, really, essentially what we're saying. So, yeah, I think it's fine. It also means Dragonfire Potion is even more of a massive swing when it hits. That's a swing you don't recover from as Tempo Rogue when they still have stuff left on the board.
Did you watch RDU versus Kalento's matchup where Kalento qualified for this event?
I mean, I remember I watched it live.
So what ended up happening is RDU had Shaman in his only deck left, and he played the mirror against Kalento, and he lost the mirror, and then he lost, and his Shaman, this mirror match that ended up just like falling apart. And I think that this is a similar situation. I think that if Kalento can beat that rogue deck, he's got. I mean, he needs to win with his rogue deck, and I think his rogue deck is probably unfavored against the aggro druid, and it's probably unfavored against the control warlock, and it's even against the mirror. So I think it's going to be, that tempo rogue mirror is going to really where it comes down to. Yeah. And I mean, they're both brilliant players. Okay. And yeah.
So I mean, I personally think Muzzy will probably win here. I do then think the Kalento will beat who wins from Jason Zhao and Samuel Sao though.
Absolutely.
So, I'm relatively happy to just say Muzzy and Kalento go through, and we can
just disagree on who's first.
Yeah, I personally think Muzzy should beat Kalento, but if our winners match is Muzzy Kalento, I think everyone will be happy as a spectator, except the Chinese audience.
And me. I'm a big Kalento fan.
So what, you want Kalento
I want Kalento to just win everything, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, don't you want them to have the good game in the winners bracket? That's a good game to have.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's when he can lose and it's fine.
Yeah, that's when he can lose. So yeah, okay, cool. So yeah.
Okay, so now we still need to do C and D. We can go through these ones a little bit quicker now that we've seen some of the deck lists already and discussed a lot of the matchups. So Shitenodachi versus Ant. Shitenodachi has Tempo Rogue, Rouser Priest, Q-Block, Jade Druid. Those are pretty much the four power decks, you would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ant has very different decks. Tempo Rogue, well, that's not so different. Spiteful Priest, Murloc Paladin, and Aggro Druid. So he's gone with pretty much all aggro lineup. That's pretty much how you would define it here.
Yeah. So
let's look at Shitenodachi's decks in the context of how they do against aggro in particular, right?
Yes, absolutely. So
Q-Block.
Q-Block.
Standard Q-Block. Double Giant, double Faceless, Spirit Singer Umbra, Taldaram. It's 100% the standard Q-Block.
Yeah, this is just standard Q-Block.
He doesn't want to face Control Warlock, so it's good for him that he is not facing Control Warlock.
Exactly.
With that deck at least.
The Priest is going to get banned.
Yeah, looks standard. And it has Talk Reaper, it's getting banned.
Jade Druid. So what are we doing here? Once again, not greedy.
One Arcane Tyrant again.
Yeah, very not greedy.
But the Golem Summons, that's good against aggro.
It's huge, yeah.
Double Wrath, double Spellstone. I feel like this is a good deck against aggro.
Yeah, this is...
The Rogue, one Chain Gang, two Scalebanes. So it's better against Priest. He has Ken.
It's got Ken. Ken's strong against aggro. Am I not right about that?
No, it's better against Priest. Ken's pretty weak against aggro as a turn 6 player.
Yeah, as a turn 6 player, but I mean, if you can keep trading, you can go Ken into. I mean, you're playing a longer game, obviously, but yeah.
I think this deck is worse against aggro than a lot of the other options that you could have for Tempo Rogue. I would say that much.
Yeah, you're definitely missing some of the defender action, and you don't have Sonya, and I would agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, the Chain Gang, I would rather have 2 Chain Gangs and 1 Kane, in which case this would basically just be the standard list.
Yeah.
So basically he's cut a Chain Gang for a Kane, which it makes his deck a bit better against Priest, which tells me he might not want to ban Priest. And this is the slightly better control Q-Block, the lock against Priest,
right? Yeah, but it's still not good.
It's not, I mean, this is a mirror, so we're talking... Slightly unfavored, 50-50, favored and favored. Can we say that?
Well, I don't know if that druid is favored. I mean, once again, how are you killing Velen?
Double Wrath, double Spellstone.
Yeah, I mean maybe
swipe Spellstone. There's ways. I mean, he has as much removal as he can find.
I mean, my bet is he's banning Priest here, and he's kind of targeting the aggressive decks. Do you think he might? Well, anyway, definitely against Ant. It's
against Ant. So Ant has the Spiteful Priest. It's alphabetical. I didn't even realize that until now. Ant has Aggro Druid, 1 Scalebane, so a little bit better against aggro mirrors. Got double Galaka, so it's an Aggro Druid protect for the aggro mirrors. Big Spell Priest, or Spiteful Priest, as I'm calling it. He has double Twilight Drake, which is better against the... He has Twilight Acolyte as well, Yeah. Oh, he's running the killer Sythe version. That explains the space he moves for those.
Well, this deck's... Yeah, I mean...
This deck's better... This is better than the one that runs Shadow Ascendant in aggro mirrors.
Yeah.
Because Shadow Ascendant is very passive. You can't really trade with it.
Absolutely.
And wait it
how would this do against Jade Druid? I would rate it's probably quite good against Jade Druid.
I think it's better than
Highlander Priest.
Probably better than Highlander Priest, yeah, but I was going to say better than the non-killer Sythe version.
Yeah.
So
I
think that's good against the Jade Druid. The Murloc Paladin looks pretty standard. One Rallying Blade, double Maul. He's running Cold Light Seer. He's running Knife Juggler. No Pirate Package. So
yeah,
that as we discussed already seems like a tech to be better in aggro mirrors. Cold Light Seer also much better in aggro mirrors because it gives your dudes health. One Minstrel, double Chain Gang, double Scalebane. Looks like he's tech for aggro mirrors. Sonya. Yep, this screams aggro mirror again.
Yep, absolutely.
Other Minstrel not that good in aggro mirrors.
Check out the Druid again. Let me have a second look at that. So what are we? So we're playing.
He's playing the Pirates as well.
We got one Scalebane, which is a little bit better against Jade Druid. I think this is kind of like a... I don't know if Ant is actually targeted anything. I think Ant is just playing good decks.
No, I think Ant's trying to play aggro decks that beat aggro decks.
Yeah, but he's not very all in, is he? I mean, he's not playing... You know, there's a lot of key pieces that...
And I feel like he's trying to hit Priest, except that he's playing aggro Druid, which doesn't hit Priest.
No.
But... Is that okay? Just like having one of your decks weak against? I mean, it's difficult to hit. Right?
No, totally. So
okay. So the bans. Shtanidachi, he's gonna ban the Spiteful Priest, right? Because in the scenario where his Razor Priest ever gets left up, the Spiteful Priest is still the most scariest to the Jade Druid, the Cube Lock, the Razor Priest in the temper.
Yeah,
right?
he's banning
He just
Priest.
always bans Priest. Yeah.
Yeah, he's banning Priest.
And then Ant. What's he gonna ban? Temper Rogue, Razor Priest, Cube Lock, Jade Druid. Is it the Cube Lock? I mean, the Cube Lock is the slightly worse one, but he will expect the Priest ban, right?
No,
so
absolutely.
If you know that your opponent's banning Priest, so you have Rogue, Paladin, and Druid.
Yeah, you're banning Cube Lock, definitely. I mean, those defiles are problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you ban Cube Lock.
Let's see, Druid, Rogue, and Paladin. I mean, all of them unfavored against the Control Warlock. They're okay against the Priest, I suppose. His Paladin and his Rogue are slightly better than average against the Priest. And the Jade Druid, they're all good against. The Jade Druid is once again the concern for me with...
Yeah, I think that Ant is probably a bit favored here.
Yeah, it's the Jade Druid that's getting this feels like a lot of these matchups we're looking at in this first group stage are coming down to Jade Druid versus Aggro Druid. Which is the Druid that gets the win?
So the difference is I think it depends whether Aggro Druid plays big hitters. If Aggro Druid has Scalebanes, and Hydras, then I think Aggro Druid's favored. If Aggro Druid doesn't have them, then I think the Aggro Druid's unfavored.
Yeah, I mean,
so he's got one Scalebane, so he doesn't have the full.
But he has Captain, which helps as well.
He's got Captain, which definitely helps. So I think this is probably more of an even matchup, where without the Scalebane and Captain, probably be a worse matchup.
Maybe, yeah.
And then if you had the Hydras, it'd probably be a better matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I am, because I think that Jade Druid is going to be able to find a defense. And I think the Aggro Druid is going to need to push through. And if you can't push through, you're going to lose. But if you can push through, you're in pretty good shape. So I would say this one's probably pretty even. The Murloc Paladin is going to beat the Jade Druid. The Temper Rogue will probably beat the Jade Druid.
Look, yeah, the Murloc Paladin and the Temper Rogue look good to go through, yeah, right?
Yeah, so it's that Aggro Druid that you're worried about. But the Aggro Druid's got Temper Rogue that it can probably get through. It's got, it's not getting through Cube Block, but it could get...
Well, we're banning Warlock, right? So it's not getting through Razor Priest.
It's not getting through Razor Priest. So your Aggro Druid's a weak spot. It's definitely a weak spot, but as I said, it's good against Temper Rogue. It's okay against Jade Druid. I think Ant is a little bit better.
If we have to go to the player argument for this one, which I don't really like going to, I think both these players are pretty good, but I feel like Shtanidachi is maybe the slightly better player, but Ant is playing his favorite style, right?
Yeah.
He prefers playing aggro, and so I believe in his ability to play aggro against some of the most popular decks right now. He would have practiced these matchups hundreds of times.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Let us put Ant through. Next we have Sythe versus Purple. So Sythe was the EU last call champion, or last call points leader, I think. He is playing. Oh yeah, he's playing Big Spell Mage, Dragon Priest, Jade Druid, and Control Warlock. So a very interesting lineup. No Rogue, no Razor Priest.
Very interesting. And so, I want to look at that Jade Druid. That's what interests me. What is he doing as Jade Druid? Because Mage is there to attack aggressive decks. So Jade Druid can be quite weak against aggressive decks or quite strong against aggressive decks.
So Sythe Mage. He has Alexstrasza for the health recovery. He has Dragoncaller Alana. He has Medivh, so he has a lot of good late game value. He has Geist for the Druid.
Yeah.
He has double Polymorph for the Warlock, which is good again in that matchup.
Well, to me, this deck is actually probably pretty strong against Jade Druid. I mean, I think you're going to mill Jade Druid here, because if you can get that Skulking Geist down, you've got 2 Meteors to kill big Jades. You've got 2 Polymorphs with big Jades. You're not dying early. You're not going to get run over. You've got your Tar Creepers, and you've got your...
there's no way Jade Druid deals with Dragoncaller Alana.
No, never. So this deck is going to rip Jade Druid into pieces. So I'm kind of interested to see what he's doing with Jade Druid. As he tech for the mirror.
Let's look at that one straight away then. That looks like tech for the mirror. Medivh.
Medivh. For those of you who haven't seen Medivh in the mirror, it is big. Jade Druid cannot deal with early 10 drops. Like, big minions is a problem for Druid.
Yeah, the 7/7 is a stat line that now as well is important because it avoids the Spellstone.
Absolutely, yeah. And what does he cut? It looks like he's cut...
He's 1 Wrath, 1 Spellstone. He's cut the Oaken Summons.
Jade Spirit must be good in the mirror, right?
Yeah, he's playing Jade Spirit and Mayaki Bay. This is definitely tech for the mirror, 100%.
Okay, so we've got a Jade Druid, that's tech for the mirror. We've got a Mage that's going to destroy the mirror. Interesting enough, though, before we move on, I just want to speak about the fact that Mages destroy an aggressive decks, and this Jade Druid is going to struggle against aggressive decks.
It is.
So that's an interesting... conversation he's had there, where he's decided that look, Jade Druid can beat anything with the right roll, and I don't care that it's I'm not going to take it for aggro. I'm taking it for the mirror. He obviously thought that Jade Druid was going to come in numbers.
He does still have Spreading Plague and Branching Paths. Branching Paths good to stall. Spreading Plague can just win you the game. Tyrant is pretty good. Swipe's good. He has some removal. It's not Jade Spirit's not horrible against some of the aggro decks. The only problem is it makes Corridor Creeper a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And a cheaper Corridor Creeper is not something he wants.
Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, I think it's alright. So this Warlock deck, I'm seeing Geist before I even turn the corner here. Yeah. So I'm kind of interested. Can we jump and see if Priest is Geist too, just for interest's sake?
No. This is not a deck that needs Geist against Jade Druid, right? Like the combo Druid, Dragon Priest, is pretty favored against Jade Druid.
Yeah, this is pretty much as good as Priest can get against Jade Druid.
You can't kill everything as a Jade Druid, and if you don't kill anything, eventually they'll Divine Spirit Unify you and kill you.
And they can do it before being able to kill you, because there's not much Jade Druid can do to a 30/30 minion. So yeah, I think this is the best Priest possible for Jade Druid. So I think that, to me, if I see anyone playing against Sythe who's got Jade Druid, I do not want to be them.
Yeah. Because a double twisting nether.
Twisting nether.
Spellbreaker helps against Aya, slow down the Jade count as well. Thalnos with the Defile. That tells me that he's not worried about the mirror. Double more coil Thalnos Defile tells me he's not too worried about the mirror, right?
No, not at all.
Because that means he wants to clear the boards and draw at the same time. These are bad cards in the mirror.
He's got Rune that's good against Jade Druid. He's got Skulking Geist that's good against Jade Druid. He's, as you said, you've got the 2 Nethers. The Blood Reaver and the Sythe are both good against Jade Druid for just to go long and beat them. Double Dark Pact. Yeah, absolutely. I think I like this. Jade Druid isn't bought by everybody, but yeah, I think these decks are all strong decks, and they're all heavily countering Jade Druid. So let's see what's...
Okay, and then speaking of Jade Druid not being brought by everyone, Purple did not bring Jade Druid, so that could be a bad start here for Shitanodachi. He has in fact got an aggro Druid here, which has single Bittertide Hydra, double Galaka, which is pretty standard.
Can we spend 1 second talking about Golden Snowflipper Penguin?
Yeah,
the golden one, because I saw it for the first time today, and it's quite beautiful the way it surfs the snow. I think it's my favorite golden card I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
More than Murloc Tinyfin?
It's the others, maybe, but anyway.
Penguin would be happy that you like Snowflipper Penguin.
Golden
it's obviously his favorite card.
One would assume.
Yes. Okay, so Snowflipper Penguin. interesting. Definitely looks like he wants to be able to beat other aggro decks by just dumping more onto the board in that buff turn.
Absolutely. He's got the Hydra, which is generally good against Jade Druid.
Yeah.
Just a one.
Captain is also good in the aggro mirrors, as long as they don't have Galakas.
Yep.
But most of the aggro decks, aggro mirrors seem like Galaka ones these days.
We've definitely noticed that. Big time.
Purple, this is a deck that looks like it wants to win the mirror. He's cut one Mortal Coil, bad in the mirror. Playing Gnome-Feratu, which is better in the mirror. He's playing Faceless, which is slightly better in the mirror. He's got Rin, 1 Siphon Soul, 2 Nethers. Pretty standard. It's very close to Scintillor's deck, in fact. It mostly just differs by the being better in the mirror.
Yeah,
slightly better.
I would say that that's true. Once again, probably stronger against Jade Druid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But definitely better against Jade Druid, yeah. Now the Priest, this is very standard. No Crawler, 1 Tar Creeper, Lyra. Yeah, not much to say. Getting banned very often.
Yeah, very often.
Rogue, double Chain Gang, double Tar Creeper. Very much a aggro mirror teched one.
Counterfeit coin. That's a bit unusual.
No, it's been seeing a fair bit of play recently. Rage was actually playing 2 in his that hit rank 1 legend with. Yeah.
Is that because of the Minstrel?
Partly because of the Minstrel, just because of the number of combo effects you have.
Yeah.
I also happen to think it's better in the mirrors as well, just be able to cheat out the mana. It's better against Jade Druid if you ever use it with Edwin, for one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's largely because of the number of combo effects in the deck.
Cool.
So I think Purple's Rogue looks good in the mirror, and it looks good against aggro decks. A little bit weaker against Control, but it should be okay.
Okay, so let's look at these matchups. So
Purple is banning. Has he ever banned the Mage? Right? The Mage is not good against the Warlock. It's good against the Rogue. I don't know how it is against the Priest, honestly. It's good against the Druid. The Priest is decent against Rogue. I think it's like even. It's good against Priest. I don't hate it against Druid because it usually has Potion of Madness. I don't actually know if Scintillor playing the Potion of Madness?
You generally do play it.
Usually you do if you're not playing the big version. Yeah, he is playing 2 Potion of Madness.
Also, you can win with your opponent's minions is obviously the big thing with the Madness.
That's not very common these days. There's not a lot of people playing small attack, big health minions, except Cryptlord. Cryptlord is a very good one to steal against aggro Druid. That is actually somewhat relevant.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. So, yeah, and he's got the Master Spell, which is obviously good against Warlock. And it's good against Druid. And it's very strong against Druid.
Especially with Purple playing like the Snowflower Penguins. He wants to buff boards more often.
But he's also very fast. And this deck can struggle against fast decks because it doesn't have much defense at all.
So what I've found about the Big Spell Mage versus aggro Druid matchup, we actually tested this a bit for WESG as well, and it generally is a case of Druid needs to win by turn 5, or it needs to have a big card or creeper early on. Those are the only ways you beat the Mage. And the Mage has 2 polymorphs, so that reduces the card or creeper chances a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have to basically kill them before Dragon's Fury, because that's usually 5 to 6 damage, and that's enough to kill your whole board. So I feel like that's a big problem for Purple. He needs to win fast with the aggro Druid. But if he does, the Raza Priest...
I think this Dragon Priest is gonna be a problem for Scintillor. I think that if you're not up against Jade Druid, that Dragon Priest can really struggle against aggressive decks.
How do you think it does against the Control Warlock, though?
That's what I was thinking. I think you're probably going to struggle.
I feel like the deck on average is favored, but the Spiteful Priest is definitely better than the combo variant. Against...
Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think Spiteful Summoner is a difficult card to deal with.
Okay, I mean, I'm not sold. I think that...
And also, Mind Control is exceptionally good against the deck.
Yes. But you're talking about Synthelar's deck though.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying the Spiteful version is better than the Dragon version.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is, if we look at the ladder stats overall, that skews the stats a bit, and it makes the Dragon version worse than is represented on the ladder stats.
Yes, so I agree with you. So I think Synthelar's Dragon Priest is going to be quite weak against this lineup. I think that, except for Control Warlock, I think it's going to struggle. And against Control Warlock, I don't know if it's going to do that well either, because the Control Warlock has so much removal. Like, so much removal. I think, you know, and he's got the Geist, which kills your win condition.
Yeah.
I think you're going to struggle. I think that Dragon Priest, I think Scintillo's going to struggle this event. I think that Dragon Priest is going to be like a rock. A rock that he can't move.
Really? I don't think the Dragon Priest is going to be that bad.
With the Inner Fires, the Inner Fire Dragon Priest, eh?
I know. I think it's good against Jade Druid. I think targeting Jade Druid, which his list lineup is kind of doing, it's not that bad. I don't know, like, how can we even say it's targeting Jade Druid? It has, like, big Spell Mage, which, okay, I suppose that is okay against Jade Druid.
No, it's good against Jade Druid.
The Geist and stuff.
Yeah, the Geist, it is good against Jade Druid.
And his Jade Druid is definitely better in the mirror.
Yeah, he's definitely targeting Jade Druid.
So what's he banning? We haven't even figured out the ban.
I think he's got to ban Razor Priest.
I think so. Looks like it. I mean, it's weird to me to bring Dragon Priest and ban Razor Priest, though.
But no, but that's...
But if you want... But it's because he's targeting Jade Druid.
But maybe he has to leave Razor Priest then, because his Dragon Priest is so bad against everything else. So maybe he's banning... Could he ban, you know, Tempo Rogue or no, he's not going to ban Aggro Druid, but maybe Tempo
Rogue is not a bad option to ban.
Maybe he's going to ban Tempo Rogue, yeah. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, okay. Ban Rogue. Purple banning?
Big Spell Mage, probably.
Is it? I mean, the Spell Mage is good against Aggro Druid, it's good against Tempo Rogue, it's bad against Razor Priest, and it's bad against Control Warlock. I guess the question is, like, it's 2-2.
It's weird to ban Rogue, because now you're making your Spell Mage bad.
Also, if he expects Cincelot to ban Rogue, then he'll never ban the Spell Mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with banning the Rogue, I suppose. So... The thing is that the Priest is just good against this whole lineup, is it not?
Yeah.
Timber Rogue, Control Warlock. Yeah, I mean, fine, he's just banning Priest. I think.
Yeah, but then how does he get his Dragon Priest through?
The Dragon Priest needs to beat the Aggro Druid.
I don't think it's a good matchup.
It's favored on ladder stats, and I think it's better.
Is that the
this list? This is the combo combined of the two.
Yeah.
And this list, the Inner Fire list, is much better than the.
Is it better?
Yeah.
I would have thought it would be worse.
No, because it has like Potion of Madness.
Yeah, that is true.
And it just has earlier, cheaper things.
Okay, cool.
It's heavier on the earlier, cheaper things. Spiteful Summoner doesn't have later stuff.
Okay.
So like, here, if we look at I'm looking at Muzzies. Where did you go? They should really put the like index on the side. Anyway. So we're looking at his Priest. Oh no, wait, it was Scintillor, sorry. I'm being dumb. This is Priest that we want to look at. Yes, I mean it has Potion of Madness. It has Pyromancer. It only has one, but that's also good against the Druid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's huge against Druid.
Yeah. It has Nether Spiderstarian, which fetches you more Dusk Breakers, versus the Killer Seth list, for example.
I mean, so maybe this deck is strong against aggro. I mean, what is this deck weak against?
I think he can beat Aggro Druid. I think Tempo Rogue is his worst matchup against Aggro Druid, which is telling me Purple's never going to ban... oh wait, he doesn't have Tempo Rogue. What am I doing?
What is Dragon Priest, the Inner Fire Dragon Priest? What is it bad against?
Druid is his worst matchup against Aggro Rogue. Aggro Druid. Sorry?
So what is the Inner Fire Dragon Priest? What's it bad against?
It's worse in the mirror. It's worse against Tempo Rogue. It's worse against...
Yeah, that's what I said. It's definitely worse against Tempo Rogue.
Yeah, but Tempo Rogue's not like a traditional aggro deck in that sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you probably want to ban Tempo Rogue. Oh, but it's also bad against Priest, you say?
Yeah, but... Yeah, I mean... The problem is, where does his mage get the win, right? His mage has to get the win against the aggro druid.
Yeah.
And that means he can never play as Jade Druid until the aggro druids. through.
So purple's weak point is definitely his aggro druid, right?
Yeah, and Synthelos is his Jade Druid, isn't
but that aggro druid,
because his Jade Druid is worse against Raza Priest.
I think that aggro druid could be a problem. I mean, what are you going to get it through?
I mean, Synthelos definitely banning Priest, right? Like 100% of the time.
Yeah, Synthelos banning Priest, and then that aggro
Not
druid.
sure why he brought Jade Druid, but I think I will not be surprised if Synthelos does not ban Priest. Yeah. And he believes he can beat the matchup, but it does look like he is. So it's very open. Let's just go with him banning Priest. So Purple knows he's going to ban Priest on average. So that means he is looking at a lineup of Rogue, Druid, and Warlock.
I think he's banning the Mage deck, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah?
I think that Purple is going to be very worried about getting his aggro Druid through. And I think that he's going to ban the deck that's the best against his aggro Druid to give him the best chance in every matchup to get that aggro Druid through. And that aggro Druid is not beaten Big Spell Mage. Like, ever.
Well, the aggro Druid is okay against Jade Druid. And it's better, remember, against Synthelos version, which is tech for the mirror.
Yeah, so your aggro Druid needs to beat that Jade Druid. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise the aggro Druid is unfavored against the Control Warlock, unfavored against the Mage, and unfavored against the Priest. He could best ban the Priest, right? The Priest is actually just good against all his decks.
Yeah,
it's the same problem.
Okay, fair enough. So let's ban the Priest. So let's say Purple bans Priest.
Wow, we just discussed bans for like 10 minutes and then they both banned Priest.
I know. How interesting, yeah, good one. So I would say that then, okay, so
yeah, it's the aggro Druid and the Jade Druid. It's the Druids that are the problem, right, for the respective players.
Well,
or is Synthelos Mage also a problem? I mean, the Mage is favored against Rogue and it's favored against Druid. So
yeah, it's not a problem. So it's the two Druids. I think that aggro Druid is going to beat the Jade Druid.
Yeah.
So, but then Jade Druid with a good draw can beat anything. It can beat Temper Rogue. Absolutely.
I still favor Purple to win.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. But it's going to be about this Druids. So Purple to win.
This is a pretty stacked group. I mean, I feel like I'm maybe just biased because it's a mostly European group.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or, I mean, Purple is NA, but
yeah, I mean
kind of European because he streams in French and stuff.
Purple is really, really good. For those of you who haven't watched him, I mean, I think that Purple is probably, if not the best player at skill level, the top two. I mean, he is really good. I watch his stream whenever it's on. He's really, really good.
Isn't it mostly in French?
No.
No. I thought he mostly streamed French. Anyway. Okay, so...
Unless I'm completely wrong, which is always possible. But
you're thinking of somebody entirely different.
To my knowledge, if he's the guy I'm thinking about, who won NA, he definitely streams in English very often.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just know there was a period where I tried watching his stream and he was speaking in French mostly, and then I stopped watching his stream. Maybe he changed.
It's possible. I've only been following him for about, I would say, 6 months.
Oh, okay. I'll try. I was probably watching him before that.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Anyway,
so let's move forward.
So Ant versus Purple in the winners match. Ant, Timber Rogue, Spiteful Priest, Melloc Paladin, Aggro Druid versus this. That's an interesting. The Control Warlock is good against the aggro decks, so Ant bans Warlock. That's consistent. Purple, does he still ban Priests? He doesn't ban Paladin.
Okay, well, what's he trying to do? Yes, he's got that. So he's.
He doesn't ban Paladin. He doesn't ban Rogue, right? Because the aggro Druid is better against those.
Yeah.
Especially with the Snowflake Penguin, that actually helps. So he's going to ban the Priest.
So are you saying Melloc Paladin is good or bad against aggro Druid?
What do the stats actually say? Aggro Druid is even according to this. But the telling sign for me is that Ant does not have pirates, if I'm not mistaken, in his Druid, right? I mean in his Paladin, and Purple does have Crawler.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So like Crypt Lord is very good in that matchup if they don't get poisonous. Hydra is worse in that matchup. But Living Mana is just
nuts.
A win condition against the Paladin. Like, it's absolutely massive. Like, all the games I lose against this deck are to Living Mana.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm playing Paladin.
So we'd probably say that the Paladin is probably a marginal favourite. Is that where you are as well? Just because of the because of the lack of pirates. What is he playing instead of pirates?
No pirates. So he's playing Cold Seer, that helps in the mirror.
Definitely helps.
And he's playing the extra weapons, which help.
Yeah, so I would say that I think that these feel like the bad decks. Sorry, let's.
Yeah, they feel like two decks that are both techs for aggro mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say so go back to the previous screen quickly, just so we can have a quick look at it again. So we've got so for purple, his Temper Rogue is going to be pretty strong. I would say. Well, he's got the mirror, and then I would say it's pretty strong against Paladin. You agree with that, right? Temper Rogue is pretty good against Paladin. Yes. Then his Control Warlock is pretty good against everything.
Yep.
And then it's just his Aggro Druid that's a bit of a problem.
But it should be okay against the Rogue, right?
It should be okay against the Rogue, yeah.
That's where he's looking to get the win.
Yeah, I would say that they're both going to ban Priest, and Purple's a slight favourite.
I feel like his aggro druid is just even-ish.
Yeah.
Well, Ant bans Warlock. He doesn't ban Priest.
Yeah, I was looking at that, but that Priest will still be good.
Yeah. Purple's Priest is still good, yeah.
So I would say that Purple's a favourite, quite a nice favourite actually.
Yeah, okay. Which is a problem I feel for Ant, because if he has to play Scintillol, that's going to be a problem. Like Scintillol is particularly trying to hit his lineup, right?
Entirely.
He's trying to hit J Druid and aggro.
Well, Scintillol we can see is gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win both those matches. Yeah.
You think he beats J Druid?
Yeah, I think he's gonna destroy J Druid. I think his deck is so well positioned against J Druid that I don't even feel like, obviously J Druid can always pull a win.
And then he beats Ant.
And then he's gonna beat Ant again. Or is he gonna beat Ant again? Yeah, he should beat Ant.
I mean, his decks are just good versus Murloc Paladin, right? It's just his Jade Druid that's the scary part.
His Jade Druid is bad against Murloc Paladin.
I know, I don't get his Jade Druid versus these, like the aggro decks. Like the rest of his lineup looks like it's good against aggro, except that. So does he ban the Paladin? Does he ban he has to ban the Priest, right?
He's banning the Priest.
Yeah, he's banning the Priest. And Ant's banning the Warlock. Or is he banning the Mage?
He's banning... he probably bans the Mage.
Yeah, which is not a good position for him to be in.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
It's just the Jade Druid, yeah. He just has to beat the Jade Druid 3 times.
He has to beat the Jade Druid 3 times. So anyways, I mean, who do you think's going to get through? I'm
going to say Jade Druid gets a win against aggro decks 1 in 3 times.
That's what I'm going to say. Even if it's if it's not the perfect deck against the aggro lineups, the deck's just too good to lose 3 times. So I'm happy to go Purple and Scintillol.
Yeah, both of them are a little bit lacking on experience at big tournaments. I mean, Scintillol has just been a massive ladder grinder. He's done well at other tournaments, obviously to get the HCT points, but he's not been like winning massive tournaments.
That's true.
But Stanadachi does obviously have that experience. He won the winter prelims.
Yeah, but I think that your tournament experience comes more in the later rounds. I think in the early rounds you're still running that excitement, and everyone kind of gets to tournaments expects to get through the group stages, right? No matter what, even if you're the worst player, you arrive I will get through the group stages. It's when you get to that knockout stages that the nerves really start to bring people down.
Yeah.
So I'm going Purple Scintillol.
Okay. I remember that. Surrender is like one of my favorite players based on like how he. No, I mean for this tournament.
Okay.
Based on like how he performs very often in tournaments. Like I think he's ridiculously good.
Okay.
Temper Rogue, Graza Priest, Q-Block, Aggro Druid. That's the power decks.
Yep.
Just Aggro Druid instead of Jade Druid. Mega Zero, Murloc Paladin, Riser Priest, Control Warlock, Aggro Druid. So no Temper Rogue, which is interesting.
Yep.
So let's see. Actually want to look at Omega Zero's lineup first, because that's the slightly more unusual one. So 2 Scale Banes, 2 Tar Creepers, 2 Living Mana, obviously 2 Living Mana, 1 Galactic Crawler. So it looks like he's taking against aggro, but then he has 1 Galactic Crawler. He has Captains and Corsair.
And then double Scalebane.
Yeah, he wants to have a little bit more value, but he's not banning Priest, right? What's his Warlock? Yeah, it's Control Warlock. He's banning Priest. This is meant for the mirror.
And what's
Trailblazer?
Yeah, and what's his
double Gnome Ferratu, double Doomsayer, double Defiled, Swamp Ooze. This is meant to beat the mirror and aggro decks.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
So the Druid is also meant to be good against Control Warlock then?
Yeah, I would say that's true. No, this deck never beats Control Warlock. I mean, Defile alone just destroys aggro Druid, right? Defile and Hellfire.
Not that bad, but
okay.
Yeah. But that's like I think often enough you get there before they can clear it, and before they can Lackey and Void Lord.
Yeah, I mean Savage Roar is just huge.
Yeah. So I think it's okay. It's not great.
The Paladin I think is the big one.
So yeah, so the Priest, Standard, Raza, Cabal Shadow Priest.
That's very
interesting. Doomsayer, so anti-aggro. Pint-sized potion, and I assume there is a Shadowwood Horror. Yes, there is. So that's why the Cabal Shadow Priest, right? Because he's paying pint-size over Binding Heal.
Cool.
Which you were earlier saying is standard. Double Blessing. Double Blessing, a Stonehill Defender.
Finja and Steed.
This is, what, for aggro mirrors? Double Galaka.
Yeah, this is for aggro. Absolutely.
I mean, Blessing of Kings is really good in aggro mirrors as well.
Well, yeah.
If you have a stick, like, it's just nuts.
Absolutely. So...
and he also has no Divine Favor.
And I mean, how often do you see Stonehill Defender in Murlocs?
Yeah, he has no Divine...
So it's just, yeah, he
has no Divine Favor. So his late game options against control decks are to Blessing something and hit them in the face, to Stonehill a Tyrion, or another Sunkeeper Tyrant, and like your Finja Spikeridge Steed. So he's opting for some individual value cards rather than massive draw with the Divine Favor.
Yeah, so he's yes, okay, I'm on the same page. So, he's playing against Surrender, who's got the Token Druid.
Yeah.
The Token Druid, the Temper Rogue, and he's definitely going to ban... I mean, I think they're both banning Priest here.
Yeah, looking at this Priest.
I mean,
what? Okay, there's a Cold Light Oracle in the Priest too. Notice that. That's not good against aggro.
No.
They decks are right next to each other. How convenient. Okay, so the Druid, 1 Bittertide Hydra, 1 Tar Creeper, double Crawler, double one Nat Direwolf Alpha. Yeah, it seems relatively standard. No Crypt Lord. That's the one thing. Which I think a lot of these decks that are playing like Direwolves and stuff instead don't have Crypt Lord. This is standard Q block.
Very standard.
His only difference is that he is not playing... He's playing a Spellbreaker instead of a Spritzing Umbra.
Yeah.
Priest, Galactic Crawler, Lyra, otherwise standard.
Yeah.
Loot Hoarder as well as Crawler. Definitely this deck is meant to be good against Druid, J-Druid.
Why is that?
Because Galaka's not even that bad just to play on.
Oh, you're talking about Token Druid?
No, I'm talking about J-Druid. Lyra, because it gives you extra spells, which is just more damage basically for your deck. He has quite a few of the one mana spells, which is important to like OTK them from like 30-40 HP or 40-50 HP. So it looks to me like that's where he's going with this deck.
Okay, but it's not hugely different. I mean, Tar Creeper.
No, but like I'm just saying it's making some of the tech options that help.
Okay, cool. And then
I think.
Cool.
The Rogue can again. Double Chain Gang, 1 Scalebane, so you just cut a Scalebane for Can. That's pretty much what happened, which is fine. It just gives him some more value.
Cool.
Against Priest as well. So we looked at both the lists. I don't know about this Paladin. So Paladin, it's not good against the Raza Priest. It's not particularly good against the Rogue. It's not particularly good against the Q block. It has to be the Aggro Druid, right?
Yeah, but it's not going to be that good against Aggro.
But the Aggro Druid has double Captain, and it has the Murloc Paladin has Galaka.
Yeah, and also Surrender can get his Aggro Druid through in the mirror at the very worst. So at the very worst is 50-50.
So, but he's banning Priest, right?
He's banning Priest. I think they're both banning Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely put Surrender, yeah. Just because that I think he's both that Murloc Paladin and that Aggro Druid are going to struggle to get through. You know, they've both got Q block, and then I would rather have Temper Rogue and Aggro than Murloc and Aggro, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be, right?
I feel like Temper Rogue is just better than the Murloc Paladin will ever be in the aggro mirrors, right?
Exactly. No, 100%. So defos. You know, even though the Murloc Paladin's tech, I still don't think it's going to beat it's going to be
We
tempo.
are not favoring... Alright, no, it's not top 2 yet. We're not favoring the Chinese players very much. So far we've had them 0-3.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that is what they did in the last event.
Yeah, although that one, there was a bit of a problem because they were... there was like a change of format and for the Shanghai. Their own one. There wasn't like they were informed about the wrong format. They prepared the whole time for the wrong format until like a week before.
I had no idea.
Which is an absolute like stuff up. They were like prepared for like BO7s instead of BO5s.
Oh wow.
Which is obviously quite different.
No, that's hugely unfair.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that was a mitigating factor as to why they all sucked.
And they did suck. They did terribly. Cool.
So losers, we have Omega 0. So, Frozen Nyria. Last one, group stage, well, first round matches.
Okay. Nyria's the defending champion, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Who's the defending champion? Pablo, of course.
Well, he's not defending because he's not there.
Because he didn't play. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got.
Nyria went to the most championships, which that's probably tied with Omega 0 or Jishin Zhao. Anyway, so Frozen has a very weird lineup. Well, I mean, he has the control mage, so it's a little bit more like Scintillaw's lineup, right?
Yo, let's see that Q block. Is it as targeting?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, just quickly. Nyria has Tempo Rogue, Razor Priest, Control Warlock, Aggro Druid. Okay, so pretty standard. Okay, so Frozen here. He has Control Mage with double Dirty Rat. He has Galaka Crawler in his Control Mage.
Wow.
Polymorph. So this is the control mage. No Dragon Collar Lana.
Yeah.
So no Medivh. This is not going to be good against Jade Druid. He just has Skulking Geist, so he doesn't automatically lose to Jade Druid.
Yeah, but if he does get it, he's got double Polymorph and double Meteor. I think he'll still beat Jade Druid if he gets out Skulking Geist in the first like 10 turns.
He even has Medivh's Valet. This is an anti-aggro tech. Okay. So, like the Ice Barrier, Medivh's Valet. He's even running Arcane Intellect. So he doesn't like run out of cards against me.
Yeah, which makes Dragon's Fury a lot worse against Jade Druid.
Yeah. I don't think this is teched against aggro 100%, I think.
Cool.
Okay, and then the Warlock looks like Cube, single, faceless.
Zealot with coils and defiles.
Yeah, so he's gone with Galaka, Zealot, and the Defile and Doomsayer. So he's cut some of the value in no Spirit Singer. He has Spellbreaker. Dropped both Giants and Faceless Manipulator.
Okay, this is absolutely anti-aggro.
And yeah, Galaka, Defile. Yeah, 100% anti-aggro. I expect us to have a Galaka in. Oh, no Galaka. No Loot Order either, though. Yes, Binding Heal. Gadget San instead of Lyra, which is... He might ban Druid. Like Jade Druid. Morphurian, this Oaken Summons.
So he's got the Violet Teacher,
which is the interesting thing he did. So he doesn't have Oaken Summons plus the Golem. He has Oaken Summons plus the Violet Teacher.
But he's got Mark of the Lotus and Innovate.
Yeah.
Which
means he wants to contest the board, right? With and he wants to be able to Innovate Spreading Plague is pretty good against aggro decks.
It is huge against aggro decks. It is enormous against aggro.
And Violet Teacher, like if you go Violet Teacher on 4, well, Oaken Summons your Violet Teacher, Innovate Spreading Plague. Actually, it doesn't really work that well because you get the tokens first before you get the 1 and 5. So
yes,
I've done this before. I actually tested this exact deck a little bit.
Oh, really?
And I didn't like it that much. Well, I tested the Violet Teacher thing, I think, specifically.
Okay.
I didn't like that much. But, yeah. Anyway, so that's Frozen. And then we have Nyria. Let's see, Nyria. 1 Scalebane, 1 Fledgling, 1 Captain, 2 Crypt Lords, and his Aggro Druid. Interesting.
What's his... He's got 1 Scalebane. Oh, he's got a Fledgling. Did you say that?
Yeah, 1 Fledgling, 1 Captain, double Crypt Lord.
I don't like Fledgling in the current metagame.
No,
it's
but
just so much
it helps against like Priest or something, but doesn't that really even matter? He's banning Priest.
So Plated Beetle, Stony Old Defender, Tar Creeper.
This is meant to be aggro and the mirror. But like this is meant to be Q block. It's not heavily teched for control lock mirror, but it'll be Q block.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he has coils, which are bad in the control warlock mirror.
Yeah.
He has too much draw for the control warlock mirror, which is just coil. That's too much draw. Ren is fine, but you're realistically not going to play. You might play all those seals.
Yeah, I mean,
probably keep Ren in a control miller, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you want to dark pact your Ren. So then if they have a spellbreaker, I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he has spellbreakers, that helps him deal with the Rens.
Yeah, I would say that this is a pretty normal control warlock that's made to just beat the other ones that are made to beat aggro decks.
Yeah.
But not beating the ones that are made to beat control decks.
Yes.
It's kind of found its way in between. That's pretty clear.
It's not phenomenal in the mirror, but it's favored versus the anti-aggro.
Exactly.
So he has Raza, Gadget Sand. This is not particularly good against
Master Spell.
Druid again.
Well, Master Spell is good against Druid.
Oh,
you're talking about Jade Druid,
sorry.
sorry.
It's got Pyromancer, that stuff's good against the other Druid.
This looks good against Token Druid.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Rogue, we've got...
Double Scalebane, double Chain Gang, 1 Tar Creeper, 1 Captain. He cut a Captain for a Tar Creeper. He cut a Swashbuckler too.
That is weird. I've never seen that before.
I have seen some people cut Swashbuckler recently. He's also playing Coin, basically. He cuts Swashbuckler for Coin, and he cut Captain for Tar Creeper.
Anyways, look, I mean, this Rogue and Druid are not getting through this lineup. I mean...
Really?
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle.
Control Mage, Dragon Raza, Priest, Q-Block, Jade Druid. I don't know, the Jade Druid is still the one I worry about.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking too. This Jade Druid is definitely an odd choice. Because just go back to...
Okay against the Raza Priest. He's not banning Raza Priest.
He's not banning Raza Priest. No, I don't think it'll be good against Raza Priest because he's playing
cards. It's only his Q-Block that loses to Raza Priest.
Yeah, and also that his Jade Druid is not specifically made against it.
Frozen Time.
Yeah, let's just take a look at... Because his Jade Druid is like an odd decision, so it's kind of like, what's he doing here? You know, I think this deck's quite bad. But... You know, I'm going to back him.
It still has Organ Summons, which is extra armor.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it against Raza Priest. And sometimes if you manage to get a board with Mark of the Lotus, you can just win.
That's true. But I mean, we clearly know that he's going for...
If you ever generate apprentices that get shuffled, that's horrible. It gets screamed, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I would say that I would go for... You know, this Jade Druid is an odd pick, but he's clearly attacking aggro. He's playing against a player with 2 aggro decks. I'm going to back him. You know, this is his plan. His plan was to attack aggro. He's playing against a player with 2 aggro decks. So
what's Frozen banning? That's the question.
He's banning Priest.
Is he though?
Yeah.
Jade Druid's okay against Priest. His Q block is the only issue. His Control Mage is okay against Priest. Is it not? No, it's terrible.
I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how their Control Mage beats Priest. So I think they're both banning Priest.
Yeah. Because the Dragon Raza Priest... is it not okay for Nyria to ban the Mage? It doesn't do well against Warlock, sure, but he knows the opponent's banning the Priest. And it's good against the Rogue, it's good against the Druid. The Dragon Raza Priest is good against the Druid and the Warlock. Average... probably still good against the Rogue. Okay, you ban the Priest.
Yeah, the only thing is that like your Temper Rogue is such a big problem that maybe you would ban the Priest just because your Temper Rogue's got a marginally stronger... I mean, ban the Mage just because your Temper Rogue a slightly better chance, but no.
I don't know, the Temper Rogue's okay against the Jade Druid and okay against the Control Mage. It's not great. Remember, this Control Mage has Arcane Intellect in.
That's true.
So Dragon's Fury is worse.
That's true.
It does have Crawler though, which is better. It has Venice Valet, which is better against Rogue. I think it is probably a bit better against Rogue.
I would say that this matchup's going to be about can the aggro Druid and Temper Rogue get through. And I think they're going to get through that Jade Druid. That's where this matchup's going to be about. And it's going to come down to the fact that...
I feel like that's just what we've said a lot.
Exactly.
Jade Druid versus aggro Druid.
Well, exactly. I mean, that is really what this event's going to come down to. I think a lot of matchups, a lot of the decision was, do I bring Jade Druid or aggro Druid? And that's who will be decided, the player who was right.
I think... So, but what will usually happen is whoever was right, those decks will filter towards the top.
Yeah.
So we'll end up with lots of aggro Druids or lots of Jade Druids.
Yeah.
And then it's going to become a case of like, how do you play the Warlock mirrors when those are not being banned, right?
Well, of course. And of course the Jade Druid, if you tech against aggro Druid with Jade Druid, you lose into the mirror. Yeah. So it becomes complicated.
And we've also seen that like a lot of the Warlocks are teched for the mirror.
Yeah.
I think with that plan in mind.
Cool.
So we're saying Frozen wins? No,
I think Frozen's winning this. because
you think the Jade Druid's going to win?
I think the Jade Druid's going to win. I think that he's clearly targeted aggro. He's facing against aggro decks, and I'm going to back his decision. I don't know how his Jade Druid works. You know, it's a little different to what I expect, and I haven't played it. But I just got to trust him that he wouldn't have put that there if it's going to lose to aggro decks.
I'm not so sold on the Jade Druid. I also am not so sold on Frozen's play recently. In the last long time since Winter Championships.
Okay, well that's another story. Cool. So you want to go for Neria?
I think so. I think the aggro Druid is okay. The Control Mage and the Cube Lock are a problem for it though. It's just it has to be the Jade Druid.
Yeah, it has to be Jade Druid.
Okay, I mean I can take the argument that Frozen is favored. Okay, let's just say Frozen. I'm not so sold on this one, but let's say Frozen. So Frozen plays Surrender, Maria plays Omega Zero, Frozen Surrender.
Well, it's the same thing, right? It's can his Jade Druid get through aggro Druid and Tempo Rogue or Tempo Rogue? It's the exact same situation. So you know, Frozen's made a metagame call, and I think he's got it right for his group in that they're all bringing two aggro decks.
Okay, so we're saying Frozen makes it out, and that leaves
so Neria,
Omega Zero, Neria. They still ban Priest. They have pretty much a mirror except Neria has Tempo Rogue and Omega Zero has Paladin. Is this not almost the exact same thing as against Surrender?
It's exactly the same thing. Well, no, Neria still has to beat Surrender now.
Sorry.
So now they've both got the same deck. It's the exact same lineup.
Yeah, the Control Warlock. That's going to be one of the deciding factors here.
Control versus Cube. I think I'd rather have Cube because all the other decks are aggressive. But in the mirror, obviously, I'd rather have Control. Do you know what I mean?
I think you'd rather have Control both ways, to be honest.
Okay, so you think then absolutely the...
This is Aria's Control Warlock. It's not specifically very heavily teched for the mirror.
No.
It's very heavily teched against aggro.
This is why I quite
but
like
it just has N'Zoth.
Yeah.
N'Zoth and is just enough in the
mirror, yeah.
In the mirror. Against, or in the matchup against Cube at least. Who's he playing against? We're saying Surrender.
Yeah.
Surrender is pretty standard Cube, except he has a Spellbreaker.
I mean, surely if he can run those Mountain Giants out, he can still win early on.
Yeah, Mountain Giants are pretty good.
So you know, it could come down to that. But yeah, I would say Surrender's probably going to lose this, but only just. Do you disagree? Do you think that's?
He's got the Galacos.
Also, his Druid is a Hydra, which is very good against the Warlock. Well, actually, yeah.
It is good against the Warlock, yeah. The Defile nonsense doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So what's this Druid has Scalebane and Fledgling. Cryptoid, one Captain.
Yeah, I know, dude. These are like the decks are like exactly the same. Yeah,
this is very 50-50. I'm gonna say Naria is slightly favored.
I think go for your favorite player for this one. I mean, there's much of a muchness in the decks, you know. So
I mean, I'm not saying he's my favorite player overall.
No, I mean between the two.
I think Naria. I still think Naria is favored because of the Warlock.
Okay.
Like I just.
Yeah, I know that.
If it comes down, if they have to play a Warlock mirror, Naria gets the win. Then,
absolutely,
then that's a problem.
Cool. Okay, so we have our top
8.
Top 8.
Okay. So
how does the draw work after that?
Top 8. I think this doesn't have the post-group stage.
I guess we're stuck, right?
No, it should have. I think it's like A versus C or something. It would always be 1 versus 2.
Yes, definitely.
So let's just
A, D,
write
B,
down
C.
all our 1 players. So we have Hoi, Muzzy, Purple and Frozen. That seems good. Hoi,
Muzzy,
Purple. And I mean, basically what we're saying at this point is all of these ones are good options to pick. Especially the ones we're saying get out of their group first.
Yes.
Not that it makes too much difference to get out first and second. It doesn't make any difference in terms of packs. But they are...
Is there a loser bracket in this?
for the top 8. I doubt it.
Okay, so
it
it's
usually
just not
isn't.
Okay, cool.
Let me. Does this post not have? This is what I don't understand. The like Hearthstone post doesn't even have.
Well, let's make a decision. You know, we can only guess it. So
yeah, just as groups. Let's see. How did it work for Winter Championships?
Okay, that's a good idea.
Oh, the winter was the furthest one away, but it all worked the same as it did there.
Okay, so how did winter work?
In the last few days, these players have been on a huge...
Stupid thing. You can reveal them? I mean...
It's going to take us forever to work out.
Why does it not just reveal? I don't need you to hide spoilers from me. What are you going to show scores? Okay, so it was Stanodachi versus Lovely Chuk. Stanodachi, he came first in his group. I'm relatively sure he came first in his group.
But which group is what matters?
Yeah, why don't they just show the groups nicely?
Can't you go back again?
It doesn't just show me the group stage. You can see that it shows Frozen. It's my champion. And he came second, so not bad, not bad. It's like, it says group there, but
I mean, usually it's ADBC, right? I mean, like, virtually every event I've ever seen does it like that.
Oh, there we go. Group stage. Stanodachi and Frozen were A. Lovely Chuk was B.
Okay, so it's A, B, and CD.
Yeah. So A, B,
CD.
CD.
Okay, well, let's assume they'll copy
yeah,
that.
so then Frozen played Naria, and Naria was first for B. Okay. So we'll have...
so Hoj was A, so he plays against...
he plays against Kalento,
yep.
and Orange plays against Mazi.
Kalento and...
Orange. Orange. Yeah. Except we just need to move this because they are this game, because then it'll be because they won't face each other until the final again.
Yeah.
If they were in the same group, so Hoy and Orange won't face each other, and then I'm pretty sure it'll be the second from Group C that'll start here. Actually, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so then we have Purple and Purple versus Nyria. Nyria and Frozen versus Scintillol. Feels bad, man, for Asia. Not even Surrender got out, and he was like the Asian favorite according to our things. Maybe they're just biased. Okay, so Hoy Kalento. So Hoy.
Okay, so Hoy.
Aggro Druid, Murloc, Paladin, Razor, Priest, Control, Warlock.
And Kalento.
Yeah, and Kalento.
Okay, so Kalento went for his...
It was the anti-aggro Jade Druid, right?
Yeah.
That was his plan. And we've got Hoya playing 2 aggro decks. So Kalento's going to ban Priest here, right? No, the Jade Druid, I forgot. Okay, let's just double check. I think Kalento's Jade Druid is tech for the mirror, actually. No, it's text for aggro. I open summons. I am go.
Could we take a 2-minute break? Do you think we could just get a glass of water just to?
Yeah, sure. I'll stitch things together on the board. We'll be back in a sec.
Oh, really?
Okay. So now we have the top 8 here, and the matches they're going to be playing against each other. Hoi Kalento. We're saying Kalento's favored. He's got the anti-aggro lineup, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we say Kalento goes through, and then Purple Nyria. This match here. So Nyria and Purple have an exact mirror lineup.
Okay,
so
I'm
going to say Purple.
Yeah, Purple's just so very good.
And I think his lineup his deck is favored in the mirror control mirror.
Yeah,
control like mirror. Then we have in the semi so that's the one semi. The other one would be the other quarter for Muzzy Orange. Muzzy
controller Grizz. Okay, so I think that Face Hunter could be good against aggro druids.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I also don't know about that.
I'm gonna favor Muzzy, partly just because I think Muzzy's.
No, I think that Face Hunter is a weak option. And then
Orange could definitely be a surprise. He's definitely not a bad pick for choose your champion.
No, not at all. But I do think he gets stuck at Muzzy.
Yeah.
Then Frozen versus Sentinel.
Frozen versus Sentinel.
So Frozen was the one.
This is the control mage mirrors.
Oh my word.
Well, Sentinel's is favored, right? Dragon Caller Alana. But what does Dragon Caller Alana do? Then you just play Dragon's Fury and pull a thing and it clears all the things, and that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
But the Medivh is good. You probably forced it because remember, I think Sentinel's.
I don't think he has Medivh.
He does.
Oh, does he?
Sure. I can double check, but I'm pretty sure his mage is just favored.
Okay, cool.
There, which is pretty important. I mean, Frozen's is a lot more of an anti-aggro lineup, right?
Yes, that's true.
Sentinel's has more gameplay now. So
he does.
Alex Straza.
Yeah, definitely.
His priest is better against the aggro decks. I think the control decks. His Jade Druid is. I think this is Sentinel, right?
Okay, cool.
All the way, right? Like all his decks are just teched against control mirrors.
Yeah, absolutely. Although didn't Frozen tech against Jade Druid?
And he has the Dragon Riser Priest.
Yeah, I think Frozen's going to win this. He's just going to beat Jade Druid.
I don't know. I think they both just beat Jade Druid until the Jade Druid mirrors, and then Sentinel's Jade Druid is better in the Jade Druid.
No,
mirrors.
I think the other guy's better.
This is better in the Jade Druid.
Oh, this is better. Okay, no. So I had them mixed around. Sentinel definitely wins this, 100%. Sentinel.
Then we have
Purple Kalento is a huge match.
I mean, they're all huge matches at this point, but
well, they're my two favorite players.
Kalento,
so it's huge for me. So they both have Tempo Rogue, both have Priest, both have Control Warlock. So it's Jade Druid versus
Jade Druid, which so far we've been favoring on aggro Druid, right?
Yeah, but we've said that Kalento's made his lineup. No, we didn't.
I think that Purple's Control Warlock is better in the mirror as well.
Cool. Purple it is.
So grand finalist number 1, Purple. Muzzy's Sentinel, 2 points highest points owners from their respective regions.
Okay, so Sentinel. Okay, I know his decks well. He's playing against
Muzzy, which is the Dragon Riser Priest is still good, so it's probably just a Priest ban still for Sentinel.
Absolutely.
So that's gone. Muzzy bans the Priest. No.
I think that Sentinel loses here. I think he struggles to get his Jade Druid through.
Yeah.
Muzzy Purple's a great finals.
It is. Where did all our EU go?
Muzzy and Purple. So they're like.
I mean, Muzzy's definitely one of my favorite players. So.
Control arc, aggro. So they're the same decks, right?
I also like Purple.
They're exact same decks.
No, Muzzy has Dragon Riser Priest. So Purple has Riser Priest. Not that matters.
They both get banned. Yeah, so it's the same decks.
Which is better? I think it's the Control Warlock mirror.
They both control Warlock.
I know, but what's the deck lists? I think that's.
It's probably going to be more come down to nerds at this point. But let's see the decks anyway. Just
they're right next to each other. How convenient.
Warlock.
This is okay. Double 1 gnome for R2. So let's see Muzzy's quick. 1 gnome for R2.
I think these guys kind of built the decks together.
No, it's double Defile, double Dirty Rat. Yeah. Dirty Rat's probably worse. Taldaram, Umbra. This one's better. Double Faceless Cube. This is 100% better in the mirror. Cube, Faceless, Umbra, you get so many more Void Lords.
Yeah, that's true.
Rin is okay. Muzzy doesn't have Rin.
Yeah, but he's got everything else.
I mean, if Purple hits Rin on curve and mulls like 3 cards.
Yeah.
Like, I think he only has to 3 cards. What's the matter? Like, Rin could entirely win the game. 1 Mortal Coil versus no Mortal Coils. That's better for Muzzy.
Yeah.
He can also faceless the Rin.
That's true, hey. Yeah, he could. And he's got 2 of
So,
them.
Purple will kill his own Rin when he plays it.
Yeah, so he's going to wait till 10-7, which is a good thing for people listening to remember, is to often play your Rin on 10-7 where it's a key card.
Yeah, in this case, he doesn't want to give his opponent the Rin. He also wants to make sure that he... I mean, Purple also has Stonehills, which are not too bad in the mirror for extra Void Lords or something. But he doesn't... I don't know. Like, Muzzy gets to his mass of Void Lords faster, which I think is a match.
Yeah, I give it to Muzzy.
Yeah. Okay, so we're saying Muzzy is the winner.
Yeah, and
I am very happy to vote for Muzzy after all of that.
I got to tell you, I'm probably still going to vote for Kalento.
Really? Not even Purple, but we decided Purple gets the final.
I know, but he's just...
Purple Kalento.
You know, obviously we do this, and Muzzy definitely has the best decks, but obviously anything can happen on the day, and the lines could be completely different. So, yeah, I would say Muzzy's a great vote.
Honestly, it doesn't matter, Muzzy or Purple, because you get the same amount, I think, no matter whether they come first or second.
Oh, really?
I think. It's 6, usually that's how it is.
Okay.
Or is it 1 pack difference?
I
honestly don't know. I'm terrible at actually submitting my vote.
I would say Muzzy, Purple are probably your 2 strongest bets. Is probably the truth of it.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, everyone. That was a really long episode.
Very, very long episode.
But hopefully you guys learned a lot, at least about like matchups and how to prepare decks for tournaments. I mean, that's kind of what we discussed a lot, right?
I think that's the most value out of this. It's just to chat about like how to think about tournaments. I think there's a lot of
think about lineups and bans. So hopefully that helps. And thanks a lot for joining me.
Yeah, thanks guys. I don't even think my wave got on the screen there.
That way. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks.
Cheerio.